Most common preseason opponent for Cleveland and Detroit is one another. Welcome back to Ford Field as they clash in preseason game number 1. Detroit at Ford Field against the Cleveland Browns. Tom Lydon is roaming the Lions sidelines for us on this Friday night. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Rob. Great to see you guys. Lots of eyes will obviously be on the players, but there will be additional eyes on the referees tonight because the league has still not come to a settlement with its regular referees, so there are replacement officials in place for tonight, including the ref Bobby Jackson, who I spoke with just a few minutes ago. He was telling me his main concern before the game was to make sure that all of his equipment worked. There is also a supervisor from the NFL, Ed Corkart, who is here in the house. And we will hear and keep an eye on that situation throughout the night. Matt, back to you.
All right, Tom, looking forward to your insight. Fans, it's time for the Lucido Fine Jewelry's opening kickoff return. If a Lions kick returner returns this kickoff for a touchdown, Patty Brown from Clinton Township will win a $5,000 shopping spree at Lucido Fine Jewelers. If you'd like a chance to win $5,000, visit WXYZ.com Lucido and register. Watch each preseason game here on Channel 7 and the Ford Lions Report during the regular season. Won't have the opportunity this time, unfortunately. Stephon Logan will take it in the back of the end zone, leaving Detroit to start 1st and 10 from their 20. Let's take a look at the Lions offense, brought to you by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory, and a factory of passing yards for Matthew Stafford. A career high in attempts, a career best and league best, I should say, in attempts. And his 5,038 yards, 3rd best in the NFL. 41-16 touchdown to interception ratio to boot. Kevin Smith, the lone setback, and he gets the first call of the night. Some room to run for a pickup of about 7.5 or 8 or so. Good start for the right side of the offensive line. Cleveland defense, if there was a positive for the Browns a year ago, it was the Cleveland Browns defense, who allowed 307 points, the lowest since 2005, and the 5th fewest in the NFL. Another running opportunity, Stephon Logan. Logan shifting to wide receiver or slot receiver / special teams guy to running back.
Well, he's a pretty versatile player besides being an outstanding kick returner. This is a young man that was able to run the ball out of the backfield. He gives you some flexibility, as you said, as a slot receiver when they run that reverse with the play-action fake-off, which we saw a lot last year. But he's in competition like everyone else. Patrick Edwards gave him a little bit of spark, and also Miller, the return man they picked up in the offseason, is going to push Stephon Logan a little bit as well.
Logan told me earlier in camp he feels like he could be the Darren Sproles to the Lions offense, and every team is looking for that type of weapon. Stafford throws on a quick slant, and it's incomplete, intended for Patrick Edwards. Detroit goes 3 and out. Joe Hayden, one of the best corners in the NFL, with a nice pass breakup. Ryan Donahue will punt it away for Detroit. Donahue and Ben Graham receiving time a year ago, and now battling for the job this season. Travis Benjamin back deep to return a spiraling kick. He'll tell everybody to get away, and it goes out of bounds between the 25 and the 30. They'll mark it officially at the 27-yard line. A 43-yard boot for Ryan Donahue. Jim Schwartz, of course, at the helm for Detroit, and it's nice to have his staff stay intact. Gunther Cunningham, Scott Linehan, and all the assistants as well. Pat Shurmur in his 2nd year alongside the Cleveland sideline. You know him, right? Divine Child, Michigan State, a center, 4 years there, the Dearborn native. 7 members on his staff have been former head coaches. Whedon connects with Mohamed Massaquoi. We look at the Lions starting lineup defensively, brought to you by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. There are some substitutions. Lawrence Jackson and Willie Young are at the corners. The linebackers remain intact. Justin Durant, Stephen Tulloch, DeAndre Levy. Chris Houston and Bill Bentley are the corners. And the safeties are Eric Coleman and John Wendling. On a 1st and 10 for Brandon Whedon, the 28-year-old with a give. trying the left side. Limited opportunity there for Ontario Hardesty. And Ndamukong Suh makes the tackle.
A nice job by Sue pursuing down the line of scrimmage. It was just an outside zone going left. If he gets cut off backside, Hardesty's going to be able to cut that ball back. But by following it down the line of scrimmage, the big fella was able to get Hardesty as he tried to cut it back.
Cleveland's offensive line is really good. Matter of fact, Joe Thomas, Jason Pinkston, and Alec Mack all played every snap last year. Whedon wants to go downtown. Over the shoulder grab inside the 25 by Travis Benjamin, the rookie out of Miami. Perfect throw. Nice grab. Move the chains for the visitors.
Whedon, unlike most rookie quarterbacks, I don't think he's going to be shaken very much because this is a 28-year-old composed young man. Willie Young put some good pressure in the pocket, but he stands tall. And that's what you want your quarterbacks to do. A lot of young guys, they get happy feet. He does not. And look at the good route running that time. Travis Benjamin, a little bit of separation. Coverage is pretty good. You just got to locate the football, Matt. We talk about it all the time. The difference in collegiate defensive backs and NFL defensive backs normally is being able to locate the ball.
Whedon wants to throw again and wisely throws it into the ground. You mentioned that he's not going to get flustered easily. 28 years old. A lot of people question the first-round pick, but when you look at his numbers out of Oklahoma State a year ago, and then you compound that with what he did in his career for over 9,200 yards and 75 touchdowns. Hey,
and that's what you got. And look at this. Look at the completion percentage.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, 72%. That's a very efficient quarterback.
Spent 5 years of his sports career playing minor league baseball. And then came back to Oklahoma State. He wants to throw again. And this one is too low to handle, and it's incomplete. That'll bring up a third down. Josh Gordon, the intended receiver.
Josh Gordon, a big receiver. Taken in the supplemental draft by the Browns. They have to give up some draft picks, I believe, next year. And he's being covered man-to-man coverage. You got to like that Bill Bentley put on an island in the slot at that time. He was able to answer the bell. We get a quick look here. Watch 20. He's got to force him to the outside. And when you want to play your leverage, play your technique, and Bentley did a nice job of that and broke on the ball.
Bentley, a third-round pick. Now it's 3rd down and 10 for Whedon and the Browns on their first drive of the night, and a flag on the play.
Well, the Lion fans don't even know it's preseason, man. They're picking up where they left off on Monday night against the Bears. Starting to get a little bit loud. Before the snap of the ball there. Force one of the Cleveland Browns to jump early. Changes the complexion now, and you're calling plays from 3rd down and 8 to 3rd and 10 rather to 3rd and 15. Kind of takes that little draw out of the game, I believe.
Cleveland had just 39% completion rate on 3rd down a year ago. Whedon with an empty backfield. Has time. And forced to throw it away. Is that a fumble? Instead, Suh jumps all over it. The Lions hustle for it. Willie Young caused it. Did he recover it as well? I believe he did.
Yeah, it's only preseason, right?
I don't know. Tell that to the referee who was just dumped on his backside.
We'll get another look here. To the right of the screen, you can see Willie Young once again with the inside pressure. Oh, I believe that's a fumble. Although
yes.
The hand, he did hang on, Matt. After he got his arm hit, he came forward. So it's going to be looked at upstairs. I think they're going to call it incomplete, right? It's a tough. If his hand is coming forward and he still had the ball in his hand. Now, initially he was hit. I think I was 0 for 5 last preseason, by the way. Initially his arm was hit, but he doesn't lose the ball.
Well, they will look at all turnovers in this preseason, and they'll look at anything they consider a touchdown. Either way, Willie Young has already made a couple of big plays on this Friday night. Willie Young, really impressive early on, as impressive as he's been all camp long. Here are tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first.
I think first and foremost of any preseason, you got to come out uninjured. You got to have the team you went in with, and that's the most important thing that Coach Schwartz. And then it's time to find that chunk of coal that turns into a diamond. Which kid is going to develop here over the next 4 weeks and become the next star on your team, if at least a starter? And last of all, situational football. How do these kids react once again under fire, Matt, in the red zone, in the 2-minute drill, on 4th down and short? That's what Coach Schwartz wants to see. He wants to see a bunch of different situations, so he can evaluate his personnel and see how they react.
He won't mind this team running out of time on a play clock or things like that. He wants to see the different things. Officials have looked at the forced fumble from Willie Young, and Bobby Jackson is our head referee.
Ruling on the field is confirmed. Detroit's ball,
0 for 6.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Detroit will take it.
I thought it because his hand still had the ball and his hand was coming forward, but
It's good work by Willie Young.
maybe they have the non-tenured official booth going on too, besides the officials they have on the field. Maybe the guy in the review booth.
It's hard to believe that Willie Young was a 7th-round draft pick a couple of years ago. Matthew Stafford with his second series, and the lone tailback is Kevin Smith. Calvin Johnson is in the slot to the right of Stafford. And another running play. Nice cutback across the grain. Lowers the boom to get to the 40-yard line and a first down.
This is a nice cutback because Fujito, the linebacker, along with Hughes, are there. But when Smith cuts it back to the inside, he bellies the ball back away from the flow of the defense. Nice job by Kevin Smith, showing a little bit of vision.
First down of the preseason for the Lions offense, and Matthew Stafford works out of the gun. Johnson by himself to the left, a curl route to Pettigrew for another first down. He got hammered too, didn't he? I mean, they laid the wood. T.J. Ward up for the safety position.
But a good read by Stafford as well as Brandon Pettigrew. He's just going to hook and sit down. Kelvin Johnson runs it out to the outside, which pulls the corner a little wider. They're just playing zone. As the corner widens, Pettigrew just curls to the outside on the same page as Stafford. Nice completion.
How good was Brandon Pettigrew? You know, we talk about Johnson and Stafford for good reason. Big Pettigrew, a career-high 83 catches, 777 yards. A career-best 5 touchdowns, setting tight end records in receptions and yards. A nice pitch to the left side for Logan. Made a man miss and gets yet another first down. 3 consecutive plays, 3 consecutive first downs for the Lions offense.
We're going to watch it. This is a neat play. Watch. They're going to false pull Rob Sims. Let it go. It gets a bad read. As he pulls out to the right, they do the quick pitch to the left. It freezes the linebacker just long enough to get the ball to the edge and let Stephon Logan do his business.
Good block by Nate Burleson on the end. And that's something that's a little underrated. These Lions wide receivers are good blockers. Will Heller in the offset eye behind Stafford. Johnson and Burleson to the right. Stafford wants to throw. Pressure comes across the middle, and it's picked off. Picked off at the 15-yard line by Sheldon Brown. Weaving his way and then muscled down at the 39-yard line by Gosder Sherrillis and Nate Burleson. Sheldon Brown, who has at least 1 interception in each of his 10 years, has his first of the preseason in a scoreless game in downtown Detroit. Each team has a turnover. What happened on the Matthew Stafford interception, Rob?
Well, training camp is there for a reason. It's for communication and understanding, being on the same page. Pettigrew right here, stop it. He's going to run the out. Now let it go. Then he's going to go down the field. He's running the hash. Matthew thinks he's going to bring it back into the middle of the field. One read one thing, one read the other. What happens? You get an interception, but not a big deal. I mean, we saw Peyton Manning last night. He do an INT. So if he can do it, I think Matthew gets the right to throw one, and they'll talk about it a little bit and figure out not necessarily who was wrong, but just the fact that they need to be on the same page when that happens again, when it's for real.
Those two guys part of the same draft class 4 years ago. Now Cleveland takes over at their own 39-yard line. Whedon to Hardesty. Hardesty in there because of Trent Richardson's injury. Trent Richardson, Cleveland gave up an awful lot for. Traded up a few picks, 1 jump to Minnesota. They gave up 3 future draft picks to move up 1 spot in the draft to get Trent Richardson, the outstanding running back out of Alabama, but went under the knife recently this week, and they hope he'll be ready by the time the regular season begins against Philadelphia. A loss of 1 by Hardesty. Play action for Whedon. Has time and connects at the 45, breaking a tackle, and into Lions territory is Jordan Cameron, the second-year tight end out of USC.
Well, Jordan got matched up against Justin Durant. And this is usually one of the strengths of Durant, the very athletic linebacker, not the biggest, This outside linebacker is going to have his hands full as a tight end is going to go little China route. We call that, Matt, where you go up the field, you take a step in, then you slide back out. When you read the man coverage, you threaten the cross, you slide out of it, and well executed. Brandon Whedon looks anything but like a rookie to me so far.
Durant signed as an unrestricted free agent a year ago, had 68 tackles and a sack. Hardesty on the ground. This time pokes his nose past the 40 to the 39-yard line. Dropped by DeAndre Levy, number 54 in blue, who Gunther Cunningham told us earlier in training camp, it's the best he's looked since I've been here. And Levy told you and I, you know what, I got away for a while. I decided to get away and just rest my brain a little bit. You guys need oftentimes resting the body, but sometimes it's good to rest the mind as well. Whedon wants to throw, and it's almost intercepted by Bentley. Should have had it. He jumped the route well, and we'll look back at that one and say, let me have it again.
This is why he plays corner instead of receiver. He does a nice job. He does a really good job here reading the route, and as Gordon sits down, he runs through, but see how he tried to catch the ball?
Sure.
Right in his chest. Reach your hands out. Catch it in your hands. Like I said, if you'd been doing that out of high school, you'd been a wideout somewhere, but if you can't catch, but if people love it, that's their future they're looking at.
7 picks in his career at Louisiana Lafayette. And you want a good kid, I mean a guy who gets it, sit down and have a conversation with Bill Bentley for a while. Very impressive young man. 3rd down and 3 for Cleveland. Whedon. Pressure comes up the middle. Scrambling away from Sue, and he's forced to throw it away. Good pressure by Ndamukong Suh.
And welcome to the NFL, Brandon Whedon. When you're trying to run and get out of the pocket and buy yourself time, you have some athletes and people who can run. I don't care if they're 300 pounds. Number 90, during the regular season, that might draw a little yellow flag. He's got to be careful. This ball is out. He sees him throw it. He gets just a little sugar push in the back. Nothing too serious there. Just a little friendly shove.
Reggie
but you like
Hines.
it. Number 90 getting in the backfield. They need a big year from Ndamukong.
No doubt. No doubt. Would like to see him go back to his rookie campaign. A flag on the play. It's against Cleveland. Would like to see him go back to his rookie campaign, but there's how many DTs as a rookie?
Number 25, offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. 4th down.
Who can put up the numbers that Ndamukong Suh put up? Those are fantasy-like numbers. Last year, 4 sacks, and it's not always about the sacks, is it, Rubes, at the defensive tackle
No,
position?
not at all. I mean, 4 sacks is probably pretty much average around the NFL for a defensive tackle. But it's what you do. Which way do you make that center double? You free up Corey Williams on the other side. You keep that pressure inside. You make him try to maybe keep the back instead of chipping your rush edge. Maybe have the back step up to help in the middle. He does a lot of good things. He just needs to, I think, pick it up a little bit, Matt. Show some of the big play capability he saw early on in his career. Hopefully, we're going to see some of that big play capability when we come back from break.
Lions and Browns scoreless in the preseason opener here at Ford Field with just under 7.5 left to go in the first. Kids Day at Lions training camp is this Sunday at 3 o'clock at the training facility in Allen Park. Enjoy Lions inflatables, face painting, photo opportunities, and kids-only player autograph day. Lions Kids Day at training camp this Sunday. Gates will open at 2 o'clock. There's been a lot of kids at training camp. Rubes, you and I have been there just about every single day, and we've seen a ton of kids with their parents. Everybody decked out like those 2 young men and those 2 young NFL wannabes in their Lions jerseys. It's great to see, it really is. See if the Lions can get on the board here. Stafford on his 3rd series now, 1 for 3 for 14 yards and a pick. Smith broke a tackle. Able to shake his way to the 12-yard line. Following Jeff Backus and Rob Sims. Jeff Backus steady as she goes. 176 straight games started. Incredible. And Rob Sims right next to him, big 67, added 20 pounds in the offseason, lost 4 or 5. He's right about where he wants to be, 316. Of course, I had to ask him, how about your wife? Is she okay with the weight? And he said, absolutely, because it's good weight. I ate right. I worked out hard. His wife, the daughter of former Dolphins great Tony Nathan. Stafford on a quick slant. Johnson's got it past the 35 for a first down.
Well, you know what? I can't speak for the Browns coaching staff, but they leave Dimitri Patterson, the corner, man-to-man on Kelvin Johnson, and Kevin Smith did an excellent job of picking up the blitzer to allow Matthew Stafford. Keep an eye on Kevin Smith. The blitz come from the outside. He picks it up inside out first for protection. Kelvin wide open. That's just, tell you what, that's why defensive backs like Patterson don't sleep at night when they know they're playing the Lions. They got to cover number 81. He's a beast.
I don't think Patterson saw many wide receivers like Calvin Johnson when he was playing at Tuskegee. Smith lunges to the 41-yard line.
Stephen Peterman, the Lions right guard, he pulls out that time. He got olayed a little bit. I think that was Fujita, the outside linebacker. And Kevin Smith actually did a good job of making something out of nothing because Fujita came through unblocked, Matt. There's a look at Kevin. Well, what a great acquisition it was, getting him back in the fold last year. And Charlie Sanders told us, hey, he looked better now than when they brought him out of college. So, he had really done some work. We had a nice interview in pregame show. Kevin's really helping the Lions reap the benefits from that move.
Stafford trying to hit Pettigrew, and a drop pass there. That's one thing Brandon Pettigrew is trying to work on over the last couple of years. As good as he's been, setting franchise tight end records for receptions and yards in each of the last 2 seasons. A guy who has, 154 catches over the last 2 years. He thinks he should have more. Three wide receivers set for Matt Stafford on a 3rd down and 7. Looks for Johnson, finds Johnson into Cleveland territory. Move the chains on the far sidelines for another 1st down. It's a nice security blanket, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's got Buster Screen, and he gets, as Aretha Franklin would say, that's R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Look at 22. You're going to come up, you're going to try to jam me? You're just little. You know what? Just get.
just little.
Just get away. I'm a man. You're a boy. Move away. I'm going to catch the ball.
That is strength, isn't it?
Yeah, I always wanted to do that. I never could.
Screen primarily playing in nickel and dime last year for Cleveland. 1st down and 10. Get away from me, you're little. Here's Kevin Smith to the 46-yard line. Well, a lot of corners are little when it comes to Calvin Johnson. He's a freak, all right? 6'5", 235.
Well, I was 230 when I came out of college, and I didn't run 4.3 like he did. 5.3 maybe. And it's just amazing when you watch him at practice how graceful he is. That's the thing that gets me the most. He catches the ball, he's fast, but you watch how he moves that big frame so effortlessly through secondaries and off the ball, and they try to jam him, and you just don't see that from a 6'5" guy.
Rubes, one of 3 wide receivers ever in NFL history with 12 touchdowns in 3 of his first 5 years. The other 2, Lance Allworth and Jerry Rice. 2nd down and 8. Stafford, pump fake, scrambling and falling down at the 50. You still hold your breath a little bit when he's getting dragged.
Yeah, I do, and I know Jim Schwartz does too, and I don't know how much longer he's going to go with number 9. But he makes the right decision. He tucks it. He's going to go. He stumbles a little bit, and that really allows Parker an opportunity to get a hand on it and trip him up. And I thought that he ran the ball. People say, his rookie year, he looked kind of slow. I thought he ran the ball okay. What Matthew does, what I like, is he will stay in the pocket extremely long to let the play develop down the field. As a receiver, you appreciate that extra time to get open. And sometimes maybe he holds it a little bit too long.
Throws to Pettigrew. Good coverage on the part of the Browns.
And that gets him in trouble when he holds onto the ball a little bit too long. The boy's a receiver. You want him, the quarterback, to have some guts to stay in the pocket and try to make the play.
You see the numbers the tight ends put up last year. Jimmy Graham, Rob Gronkowski, both Pro Bowlers. Tony Gonzalez, arguably the greatest tight end of all time. But Brandon Pettigrew, only Graham and Gronkowski had more catches than he did. Only 7 receivers in general had more catches than Brandon Pettigrew.
But 3 of those guys on that list that we just showed, Matt, are wide receivers. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Aaron Hernandez, he's wide open. I'm telling you, he plays a tight end. But he's purely a wideout, Shep, and when we come back, we're going to see the Browns and this Lions defense once again pick it up and try to get the stop.
It's been skunked so far with under 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Channel 7 is your official Detroit Lions TV station, and Saturday, August 25th, the Detroit Lions take on the Oakland Raiders in Oakland, live only here on Channel 7, starting at 6:30 for the pregame. Starting lineup for Cleveland remains out there. Offensively, Whedon, pressure comes, sets up a screen. Hardesty can't hold on to him.
Ashley Palmer. What a nice job by the middle linebacker. He has two would-be blockers coming out at him, and he's able to split them. Now you have a choice. It's one of those business decisions, as Dion says. Do I take them both on? He's able to beat the block that time of Lubau and get into the backfield and knock the play down. So nice job by Ashley Palmer. Looking, he's in a battle back there. A lot of guys trying to get those linebacker positions.
Hardesty this time on the ground. Dragged down from behind at the 32-yard line by Travis Lewis. 7th-round choice out of Oklahoma, but not before. Ontario Hardesty picks up 7. Lewis, a very interesting story. A double major in Norman for Bob Stoops. And he finished his academic career in 3.5 seasons. He was a 4-year starter for Oklahoma, a 4-year all-academic, a 2-year captain. Doesn't get a whole lot better than that. And not intimidated, by the way, at this stage at all. He says, I played against big enough teams and good enough players. I'm ready. Whedon. And it's intercepted, picked off by Bill Bentley. This time he held on and rolled over at the 25-yard line.
Well, Bill Bentley has a lot of outstanding defensive backs has. That's that killer instinct to jump the ball. He wants the ball. He's not just happy to defend the play. He runs through the route, and that time he's able to make the catch. But the way he reads, the way he's jumping routes right now, usually defensive backs just don't see this quickly. He does run the darkness, though. Instead of going outside, he goes in.
I'll tell you what, though, that was a nice athletic play by the rookie out of Louisiana Lafayette. Let's see if the Lions can cash in from the 25 of Cleveland when we come back. On Hill ready to take over for Matthew Stafford as the signal caller for the Lions in a scoreless game. Bill Bentley, very athletic play moments ago for his interception.
Well, he's going to be off to the right of your screen, Matt. Let it go. And as Brandon Whedon, he eyeballs us. Look at him looking the entire way. Bentley sees the receiver coming off, peeling off that time, Greg Little. He jumps the route. And that's just, I love the aggressive play by number 28. He's really been in the mix here tonight. Not playing conservative. He has that confidence. You talk to the young man.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy. I'm not saying he's a Deion Sanders with his attitude and confidence, but he's not a meek little lamb. He's a kid that believes in his ability and his ability to make the play. And we saw that right there.
Well, he told you and I earlier this week, he loves being on an island. The first thing he bought, by the way, when he signed his contract was a truck for his grandmother, who helped raise him and drives a bus for a living. His mom and his grandmother raised him. And I love the attitude. I love the fact that he wants to be a role model, especially for his younger male cousins, because they don't have one and he didn't have one in his life. There's Matthew Stafford's night, 4 for 7, 51 yards and an interception. He only threw 16 picks a year ago with the 41 touchdowns. That was a single season franchise record. Bobby Jackson has looked over the replay.
The ruling on the field stands.
And makes the right call.
Well, I don't know about you, but I like these replacement officials. We're 2 for 2. Seems like last year when I was calling the Lions games, we watched so many times, you knew it was a call for the Lions and they never got it. So, men in the stripes, fine in my book so far.
No offense to Sean Hill, but he only threw 3 passes last year. That was a good sign. That means Matthew Stafford was playing a lot. And he'll start with a ground attack, and it will go nowhere. You'll see some second stringers in there now, guys fighting for roster spots, perhaps. Stephon Logan, not afraid to admit he could be on that proverbial bubble. And ready for the challenge, too. Remember, Stephon Logan played all his high school, collegiate, and CFL career as a running back. So he's used to it. He's not worried about it.
We get a chance to watch left tackle Riley Reef in the game now.
3 wide receiver set. Hill wants to throw across the middle. Got it to the 5-yard line and a first down. Will Heller, who hauled in 6 a year ago, picks up 21.
Will Heller, not the fleetest of foot, but he is one unbelievable specimen at the tight end. Just gives a little bit of a dig, really not enough, but it opens up enough space where Sean Hill is able to put the ball into the window.
Really good throw just over the outstretched arms of James Michael Johnson.
Once again, throwing the ball down the window. Will Heller staying on the hash, let the quarterback bring you to the middle of the field. He does just that. Sean Hill shows once again why he's one of the most valuable backups in the NFL.
First and goal. Keelan Williams sniffing the goal line. Touchdown!
We're going to get a look here. Watch Dylan Gandy, the left guard. He pulls. He gets a nice kick-out block. Takes it on. Keelan Williams sees that. Also, Big Will Heller we talked about. Staying inside leverage on his man. And this one's going to be reviewed as well. I think it's going to review every scoring play as we know. Man, what a pretty well executed play.
You've talked already in our pregame, and you and I have talked about it numerous times at training camp. The offensive line and the depth they're building. Jim Schwartz making that a point of emphasis. Jason Fox is in there, 70 at the left tackle position. Riley Reef, Corey Hilliard on the right side. Jason Hansen for the extra point. Ninth leading scorer in the NFL a year ago with 126 points. Puts up Detroit's 7th point of the night. So the Lions draw first blood in the first preseason game of the year. It's Keelan Williams from inside the 5, busting in to give Detroit the 7-0 lead.
We're going to look at the touchdown, Matt, and I want you to keep an eye on Will Heller as well as Dylan Gandy. We're posting left side, but watch that tight end on the right. And this is why you have 275-pound tight ends, because they can match up with a defensive end or defensive tackle. But what set all this up, Chef, is the play before with the pass down the middle to Will Heller. We're going to watch right here. Let's look at the big guy. A little close on him there. He's going to set. He gets an inside rush. He collapses it. He takes the rush at that time, Austin English, right inside, and that's fine. You notice when he collapses it, he didn't get pushed back. He kept English at that one level, ran him down inside, buried him, allowed time for Sean Hill to find Will Heller.
It's a good point. Not every offensive lineman has to have a pancake on every play to be an effective blocker.
Absolutely, and you don't have to set strong and hold the guy there. You know, the defensive end's going somewhere. He's going outside, he's going inside, or he's going over you. And once you know what he's doing, you use his momentum, his speed to help him go that way. If he's going to outside rush, run him way up the field. If he wants to go to inside rush, collapse him down inside.
Travis Benjamin deep in the end zone to receive Jason Hansen's kickoff. Drifting to his left. You'll see a lot of these pulled out because guys are trying to make teams, and Benjamin will do just that. Looking for the edge, got the edge, and run out of bounds right around the 30-yard line. They'll mark it specifically at the 29 of Cleveland.
The closest one to making a tackle on that play, Chef, was Jonte Green. And we talked about how Jonte Green is fast. Well, someone else needs to inform him that most of these guys up here are fast. Because he gave up the edge that time, and he's contained, and you cannot allow that. He will hear from that when he talks to special teams coach Danny Crossman.
Colt McCoy takes over for Cleveland. 3rd-round pick a couple of years ago. Last year, led this team in throwing with over 2,700 yards, 14 touchdowns, and had 11 interceptions. A completion rate not where he wanted it to be. Nobody wants to see a team draft your position in the 1st round, but he said he's ready for the challenge.
What was he, maybe 2 or 3 years in himself?
Right,
you know, that's going to the whip pretty quick.
Yeah.
Near the front office of the Browns.
McCoy out of the gun. Sets, throws, and it's caught for a 1st down. Grabbed there by Travis Benjamin. Benjamin over 2,000 receiving yards in his Miami career and 13 touchdowns. That should be the final play of the quarter. And it is. A couple of turnovers. Make it 3. 2 by Cleveland. 1 for Detroit. The second one by the Browns. Bill Bentley's interception turned into 6 points for the Lions thanks to Keelan Williams from 5 yards out. 7-0 home club after one on the Lions Television Network.
At the start here at Ford Field. Now, if you're around Metro Detroit over the next couple of months, you might see some interesting pieces of art, none more popular than the one that you might come across in the atrium of Ford Field. The Lions have teamed up with the Children's Charities Coalition for Liontown 2012. You will see a bunch of these porcelain and fiberglass lions around town, and this one was signed by many of the Lions. They're going to auction them off on October 16th. I'm sure that one will get a lot of money. Matt, Rob, back to you.
Good in your front yard, won't it, Tom? I would guess so. Colt McCoy running for a first down and into Lions territory, but a flag on the play, which in that vicinity generally indicates holding.
Well, Willie Young and Lawrence Jackson have been getting a lot of pressure. Even on the last completion, they got a good hit on McCoy.
Number 75, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
You're going to see him coming off the edge on the right side, on the left side. There's Willie Young. Good upfield rush. He's the first one to get in. And then inside, that's Nick Fairley getting pressure from the defensive tackle position. Hey, how about him? He looks like he's changed his body a little bit at camp. We got to look at this guy. He looked bigger but more slender to me. He just looks so broad across the shoulders. And they need big things from number 98 to really, really give people fits with the other two defensive tackles they already have.
Yeah, he's anxious to prove it too. McCoy with a good drop. Tosses to the right side and dragged down at the original line of scrimmage there was Brandon Jackson. Ashley Palmer in on the tackle. We talked about Willie Young in the offseason. He did a different kind of workout. The GVT, it's called German Volume Training, where you do 10 sets of 10 per exercise. He did it with his brothers. He did it with his brothers-in-law. He also jogged on the beach. And he told me he jogged while fishing. And I said, how do you do that? He says, I always find a way to fish. And I'll get my workout in while I'm doing it. Two things that he loves the most.
See, the UP we could do that, but it was ice fishing. You put the tip up and then you ran across the ice, got your workout in. But I don't know about in the summertime. I know he's good, but I don't think he's walking across water yet.
He did not win the Lions fishing tournament, though, and I made sure I reminded him of that, although he looked me square in the eye and said, but I did catch the largest bass. I want you to know that. And I said, okay, I'll make sure I tell people. 3rd down and 7 now for the Browns. McCoy, last year's Cleveland starter. Flag on the play. Pressure comes. Rolling, running, and getting the first down. Nice move, but it looks like it'll come back.
I think it'll get the Lions possibly inside. I know it was Fairley.
You think he jumped?
Or Andre Fluellen. Yeah, I thought one of the DTs got across the face of the center just a little bit quick. But I've been wrong a lot, so.
You're due. They're talking with Pat Shurmur, so that would indicate that unless he's getting an explanation that he doesn't like. We'll see.
Illegal formation on the offense. Not enough men on the line.
It's a bad start for you.
5-yard
You know
penalty.
what?
Repeat. 3rd down.
We're going to look at the replay here. Then Andre Fluellen, let's look right inside at the D tackles. Tell me how he didn't get a good start there, the right defensive tackle.
Really good start.
Yeah, really good. Like offside's good. And then he's able to get pressure. Willie Green, I think, is getting mugged a little bit. But you're going to get away with a lot right now. And these officials, because they're replacement officials, the players know that. They're going to hold a little bit more. They're going to grab a little bit more. They're going to cut a little bit more.
3rd down and 12. McCoy caught but well short of the first down stick. And Bill Bentley there for the tackle on Josh Cooper. Cooper was the favorite receiver of Brandon Whedon at Oklahoma State, ironically enough.
Well, Bentley's going to be locked up on Cooper in the slot. Let's take right up here. Let's take a peek. Let it go. He's reading. Actually, he's playing a zone, Matt. And that's just really good reaction, sitting back in his zone. He does a nice job of looking at the quarterback. He's really reading the eyes, and it's taking him to the ball side quickly.
Logan backpedals, lets it bounce over his head. Good coverage by Cleveland, but they couldn't hold on to it. And it's into the end zone. Unfortunately for the Browns, they don't get the break they were looking for. And Detroit starts 1st and 10 from the 20, leading by 7 on WXYZ Channel 7. Caitlin Williams from 5 yards out, the lone score of the night so far in the preseason opener for both the Lions and the Browns. Welcome back to Ford Field. Are you ready? Lions Premium Club Seat season tickets, in addition to single game suite rentals, are still available for the 2012 season. Visit DetroitLions.com or call 313-262-2012 today. Good seats for those youngsters. Love to see the different numbers on the jerseys. The 20 that Lem Barney, Barry Sanders, Billy Sims used to wear. Going old school, huh? 1st and 10 for Sean Hill and the Lions. Hill 1 for 1, make it 2 for 2. Stephon Logan lunging his way close to the 25.
Well, Sean Hill gets some work here in preseason for the fact that he didn't get much work, as you said. 3 passes thrown during the regular season, so he's kind of honed his skills, see some coverages, get used to playing against real defenses in case he's called upon during the season. Obviously, we can see some more of Archer as well as Moore as the game progresses too.
2nd down and 6 now for Sean Hill and the Lions. To the ground they go. Keelan Williams, who's got the touchdown, now has a 1st down as he rumbles his way to the 32 and a pickup of 9.
Let's watch right here. Let's watch the inside cutoff blocks, but let it go. Will Heller and Riley Reef do a good job of getting inside. Reef pushes it down. He comes up to the next level, and that's good, Matt, and that's what you want to see.
An injured Brown with 11:50 remaining in the opening half. One of Rob's keys to victory was stay healthy. Unfortunately for Cleveland, someone's nicked up. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Ford Field early in the 2nd quarter, the Lions with a 7-0 lead. And there's a look at Scott Paxson. Nicked a little bit. You're going to get a look. He's the defensive lineman right in here inside. Take a look at him. And Riley Reef's going to come down, number 71, as he pushes the flow of the defense down inside. He falls on his ankle, but he got up and left on his own power shift, so that's always a good sign.
That is a good sign. Flag on the play. Wheelan breaks to the 3, into the secondary and into Cleveland territory, but a flag on the play. Dragged down right around the 35-yard line, and another injured Brown. This one, Dimitri Patterson, the cornerback.
Keelan Williams showed a little bit of burst. I always thought him more of a power back when we saw last year. They used him in some goal line situations. Dimitri Patterson does not. He looks like he's in quite a bit of pain here. Hopefully it's not too bad as it was with his teammate Paxson on the previous play, but Keelan Williams showing a little bit of burst. Nice job blocking. He just cuts this backside. It's going to start to the right, and then he's going to veer it back to his left. And look at the collapse. We talked about early on when we saw Reef and Heller push everything down. The Lions are doing a really good job. The Browns are flowing very strong right now. The Lions are just using that against them.
Number 36, defense. The penalty decline. Results of the play, 1st down.
Well, Cleveland suffering a ton of penalties so far. And it sure looked like Dimitri Patterson was injured by his teammate, Ray Ventrone, in the collision. But Williams' big gain holds up. They're at the 35 when we return. Keelan Williams has looked good, especially on that last run, Rob.
Well, you got to love what you see. You look at the young man's eyes, and he sees everything coming at you, all the flow, and that's what you learn as a running back. Don't run the darkness, run the daylight. Don't run where they're at, run where they're not. And he did a good job of, it's just a zone play. It's just a little zone to the right, but he veers it back.
Picked up 33, wants more positive yards. Ball came loose late, but he was already down. Stopped around the 31-yard line, and pickup of 4. Williams was a necessary pickup late in last season, claimed off waivers from Washington, and went on to carry the ball 58 times for nearly 200 yards. Good blocking back as well. Detroit putting up some good yards on the ground. And that was a concern a year ago, averaging 95 yards per game. That ranked 29th in the league. Lance Long and Stephon Logan come in. Keelan Williams will check out, along with Nathan Overbay, on a 3rd down and 5 for Detroit. They're up 7-0 thanks to Keelan Williams' 5-yard touchdown plunge. Edwards, Stovall, and Long are the wide receivers, and now an empty backfield for Sean Hill as Logan finds the slot on the right side. Hill wants to throw. Downfield for Edwards and incomplete.
Edwards got just forced out of bounds. Hill with good protection in the pocket. You got to I'm keeping an eye on number 71, the first-round draft pick out of Iowa, Riley Reef, and he's doing a pretty good job. He's got his hands full a little bit with Emmanuel Stevens, but he definitely won the last battle they just had.
Jason Hansen. Well, this is one of those situations. Why not give it a shot? A 48-yard field goal. Jason Hansen, the first player in NFL history with 50 50-yard field goals, but this one 2 yards shy of that mark. Ryan Donahue will hold it. And it is just wide.
That's even preseason for Jason Hansen.
24-29 last year. He's going to worry too much about that. Lions still lead at 7-7. Lions, welcome back to the Ford Tough game summary here on Channel 7. Matthew Stafford, 4 of 7, 51 yards, a pick. Kevin Smith got the bulk of the load early on. The teams combined for a few turnovers, including an interception by Bill Bentley that set up Detroit's first and only touchdown of the night, Keelan Williams, from 5 yards out. And so far, he's averaged 10 yards per touch. That's our game summary. Brandon Jackson with another carry. Jackson, the 6-year pro out of Nebraska. Started his career at Green Bay and then signed as an unrestricted free agent a year ago. Second and 10 now for the Browns. Who will be at Green Bay, ironically enough, next week, and they flinched on the left side. Looked like Dom Alford, first-year pro out of Minnesota.
Ball start, number 78, offense.
That's exactly who the guilty
5-yard
party
penalty,
is.
repeat.
He feels good because he's playing in his hometown. He's from Cleveland. Didn't want to make this mistake.
Well, Alford gets a little happy feet out here going against Everett Brown, but then the tight end also goes down inside. So besides Alford, Alex Smith takes off early, and it's just a domino effect on the offensive line. When one goes, usually most of them go.
McCoy steps up into the pocket, downfield, has a man, it's caught inside the 30-yard line. Jordan Cameron hauled it in, a whale of a throw, and he might have had his wind knocked out of him for a moment. Coming down hard on the lower part of his back.
Well, Ricardo Silva, as well as Sean Jones, the safety, is going to get a look right. Nice look here. Look at the safety. It's cover 2. It's Tampa 2. You see Ashley Palmer running down the middle of the field. And Colt McCoy actually left him outside wide. I thought he'd bring him back to the inside. Sean Jones is a little bit slow to react on that. But a pretty well thrown ball and a nice job with the big tight end going up and grabbing that. Cameron wants to make a team and contribute. You do this in the preseason, you got a great opportunity too. And a little bit different. You see that Tampa 2 now, Shep, where they run that middle linebacker. When he reads pass, he just takes off, runs to that deep hole between the hashes, because that's one of the gray areas, the soft spots of that defense.
Isn't that why the tight ends are getting more and more catches? They're becoming more and more valuable to offenses. They are tough mismatches for linebackers and safeties on the defensive side.
Well, yeah, in that particular coverage, it's not per se a man-to-man coverage, but it is a sense that you'll see a lot of teams against Tampa 2, they might hook that tight end instead of running him down the seam. If the team has, let's say, has a real fast middle linebacker, get to that hole quickly. What you maybe want to do is you threaten it and you just snap it off a lot of times. But yeah, it is. Tight ends are so big. I think the thing that's got me about the NFL when you go to practice is how tall guys are. I mean, I'm 6'3", but you look at the tight ends on the Lions, they're all 6'6".
And Jordan Cameron, 6'5", who made that catch. Jackson up the gut, past the 20, still moving the pile, and a little wrestling ensuing between Andre Fluellen and O'Neal Cousins.
I think this time we get a 2-point takedown by Andre Fluellen. Let's get a look right here. Ronell Lewis, a nice inside rush. Comes back down, gets in on the play, showing a little bit of burst we talked about. we call him a poor man's Cliff Aver. We just mean that he doesn't have that type of experience. But physically, look at 253, 6'2", very similar physical stature as Cliff Aver has.
Small town. It's Rydell Lewis, raised in the country, raised on a farm, grew up rodeo with bulls and horses. Dad was his high school football coach. And another one of those guys, Rubes, who played 8-man football when he was younger.
Casey Fitzsimmons, former Lion tight end out in Montana.
Right.
But I like Sean Jones. He got beat on the cover 2 down the middle by Jordan Cameron rather. But that time he really did a nice job of closing on the outside play and finishing the tackle as the runner went out of bounds.
Here's a 3rd down and short now for the Browns.
That's a hard count.
McCoy gives trouble, and the Lions throw for a loss. Ricardo Silva came up from the safety spot and made the tackle for a loss on Brandon Jackson.
Okay, I want you to watch right in here. Let it go. The defense, somebody gets a great start. I don't know if it's Nick Fairley. He gets penetration. He takes the guard off his path, clogs thing up, forces Jackson, the running back, to go backside that time. Rather, was that Chris O'Banier? The running back to go backside, and that's all because of great initial takeoff by your defensive tackle.
Phil Dawson connects for the first points of the preseason for Cleveland. They wanted more. They were marching, but instead they had to settle for 3, and Dawson connects. 7-3 Detroit. Phil Dawson, Cleveland's second all-time leading scorer. And Pat Shurmur's offense has to settle for a field goal. Well, the Ford Lions Report Live, the official pregame show of the Detroit Lions, only on Channel 7. You'll hear from the players, the coach, and get the game plan for victory on the Ford Lions Report Live before every game, only on Channel 7, your official Detroit Lions TV station. Tom Lydon and Rob Rubik, your hosts. 6 plays, 43 yards, and a little bit less than 3 minutes for Cleveland.
Shep usually out fighting the weather, especially late in the season. We do the show. You bring out your big fur coat you had from the leftover from the late 70s and the early 80s.
I'll tell you this, it was that last game of the year
was that
in
Chicago?
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
It was cold.
Oh.
It was really cold.
I was feeling for you. But
you sounded like it.
It was 72 in the studio.
It's a fun show, though. It really is. We're live on site, and in the studio, you're breaking down film with Tom Lydon. It's a really, really good show. We hope people can join us for it all season long. 11 o'clock Eastern Time, the Ford Lions Report on Channel 7. Phil Dawson will kick it off. You know, Phil Dawson's wife is in the recording studio. She's recording an album. I don't know what kind of album it is, but always looking to add to the household income for a football player, especially a kicker, right? You never know. Logan drifting back, and he'll take a knee. Sean Hill remains in, getting the play from Scott Linehan. Detroit at Baltimore a week from tonight on Channel 7 in 2 Saturdays at Oakland. And then we wrap things up on August 30th, a Thursday night, right here against the Buffalo Bills. Will Heller back behind Sean Hill, who throws to Maurice Stovall, makes the catch. Shy of the first down. Pickup of 8. There's the rest of the Lions' preseason schedule as they get ready for opening day against the St. Louis Rams here at Ford Field.
You see the game at Oakland. I know our Charlie Sanders is really looking forward there. Charlie has big fear about standing on the field near the black hole in Oakland. He's voiced his concern, so we will have his own personal security join him for that game.
I was there a year ago. What a less than desirable place to be as Keelan Williams rambles to the 36. Last year in Oakland, we had the pregame show there on Channel 7. We saw a rat the size of a cat there in Oakland.
Oh, let's look at this. Let's keep an eye on Tony Scheffler. I got a little late on the draw. There you go. Let it run. He keeps working. That's Will Heller down inside. Now watch 85, who's split out here, working down the field.
It's good stuff.
Boy, I tell you, running backs appreciate. You got two tight ends. I started with Will Heller and finished with Tony Scheffler, but both guys really working hard. And these guys are starters. I mean, Sheff plays a lot during the course of the season and still really giving it all in the preseason.
Couldn't corral that one, though. It went through his hands. Ball a little bit behind him.
You know, Matt, and people look at that and say, oh, that's a bad throw. You can't guarantee that's a bad throw. Sheff may have supposed to choke that down when he came out of his cut. He keeps coming across, so we're going to get a look here at Tony Scheffler. He's going to come across. Now, when Sean Hill might be reading it, he's throwing to a spot thinking he's going to stop. Tony continued the route out, and it looks like a bad pass. So only ones know are the ones that watch the film on Monday, or in this case, Saturday morning.
Scheffler, a career-high 6 touchdown catches a year ago. Hill with an inside give. Joy Bell out of Wayne State. Breaking to the outside. Sniffing the first down, and he got it. Good run by Joy Bell, who led New Orleans in rushing and receiving in the preseason last year.
You know, Matt, I'm really impressed. Let's watch Jacques McClendon, the right guard. He's going to pull out and get in front of this. He's going to seal the edge a little bit, gets 47. Look at this. And nice job outside by the receivers. I like what I see with these backups. I like the offensive line play. They're very athletic. They're getting out in space, and they're hitting people. They're just not running blind and throwing their bodies around and getting laid by the defenders.
Hill will throw. Back corner catch, or back shoulder catch, I should say, by Patrick Edwards. Edwards, a free agent, rookie out of Houston, just 23 years young. And if you were watching our pregame show, wonderfully done piece by Brad Galley, but also a guy who hasn't added to the story, and we'll tell you about that here in a moment.
And here's a look right here. Look at Patrick Edwards, a little bit of a push-off. And once again, you have new officials. Push it to the max is what I say. And so far we've seen that, but he's got that type of speed.
Joy Bell gobbled up for a loss on the play. Bell, a good story, but just a finished thought on the Patrick Edwards. You saw how the devastating injury that he received as a freshman against Marshall in a game when he was playing for Houston. He was also called by doctors a miracle baby because he weighed only 2 pounds and was forced to stay in the hospital for over 3 months. That's an amazing story. As a father of 4, you and I, we realize just how precarious that situation could be.
Unbelievable.
For his parents,
And how tiny. You know how tiny when you have a 6, 7, 8 pound baby.
Yeah.
How tiny is a 2 pound baby and able to survive and not survive but thrive.
Hill on 2nd and long. All kinds of time. Heller throws to the 38-yard line or so. Brings up a more manageable 3rd down.
But Sean Hill really a pro quarterback. He's been around a long time. How valuable is he? Sheff was trying to get down the seam, but the coverage didn't dictate that the middle of the field would be open, so he just dumps off to the other tight end, Heller. He picks up 7, 8 yards. Now you're in a 3rd down and 7, 3rd down and 8, much more manageable. Last year's stats, not enough to have a football card, but put his picture on 2 sides.
Sean Hill, when he left Maryland, held all the weightlifting records for quarterbacks there. 3rd down and 6 with under 4 minutes to go in the half. Pressure comes. He steps up. All kinds of time. He's going to run for it. To the 34. A flag down. That's in the secondary generally, isn't it? Maurice Stovall tangled up with a Cleveland corner.
I kind of hope this is on the Lions and decline, and I'm going to tell you why, Matt, because we talk about situational football.
Right.
This would be a great opportunity for Coach Schwartz to see some of his young players in a 4th down and 1. 4th down and how do they handle that if they go for it instead of kick the field goal?
Holding, number 22 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
It's on Buster's screen.
Buster's matchup with Maurice Stovall, much bigger receiver, 6'4". He grabs him a little bit inside, and he grabs him on the outside, and he doesn't even let go, and then he grabs him again. I mean, you're going to date him.
Why not just put a saddle on?
Oh, my gosh, no kidding. He just kept grabbing and grabbing, and even these officials after a while are going to say, you know, I got to call something. If you put that right in front of my face, I mean, you grabbed the guy 3 times and tackled him.
You forced the ref to make that call. Screen in his 2nd year out of Chattanooga, a 5th round choice a year ago. 1st and 10 for Sean Hill and company. Play action, throwing and connecting for a 1st down inside the 10 to Maurice Stovall.
We saw Maurice put up some big numbers in last year's preseason game. especially against the Bills at Buffalo. He's just a big receiver. If you see him physically, he looks similar to Kelvin. He doesn't have that type of speed. Nice job by Jason Fox, right tackle. Maybe we can come back to that because he's under fire. But look at that throw inside, right to him. Maurice, there's that big body. Use those arms. Use that gift. Use that 37, 38-inch arm that you have. Slap that little defender away.
Pickup of 26, first and goal from the 6. Hill standing tall for the corner, and it's incomplete. Intended for Maurice Stovall.
I like what I see with this second group of linemen for the Lions. A lot of protection. Sean Hill just realized the play wasn't there, probably wasn't going to develop the way the route was designed, so he just chucked it to the corner of the end zone. And lived to fight another day with a 2nd down and 6.
Hill looks right, throws, and it is caught by Lance Long inside the 5-yard line. The hometown product hauls it in. 65 tickets for the guy affectionately known as Vanilla Gorilla by Sean Jefferson.
So Lance is in the slot. He just does a little bit of a stutter and go and comes back underneath, and pretty good coverage. I mean, really good coverage actually by Trevin Wade, number 26 of the Browns. Did not bite on the out route, and Lance had to make a good catch, and Sean Hill made a good throw for the hard-earned 3-yard gain.
Really good kid, Lance Long, who started his career at Toledo, transferred to Mississippi State. Hill looks right, throws for the corner, and it's incomplete. Crowd wanted a flag because Will Heller was tripped up, but they won't get it. Now here's your 4th down, Rob.
We're going to look here. Let's watch. Coming from over here, you're going to see Lance Long. He doesn't go to him this time. Out of the slot. He's going to break free on the bottom where Will Heller got tied up that time with the defender, Ray Ventrone. But we talk about situational football, great opportunity. 4th down and 3. The score doesn't matter as much as let's see how we handle this. Let's evaluate these players to make the best possible team that we can for the season.
Detroit 57% on 4th downs last year. Hill looks right, fires, caught! Stephon Logan! Touchdown!
Well, you look about matchups, and you want to get matchups. You're going to get Stephon Logan right here in the slot. He's matched up against a linebacker, number 47, Robertson, and he's able to beat him. That's just a little bit quick, but I tell you, Robertson tried to get a little bit of a mugging, just too quick, got the separation. Sean Hill delivered a well-thrown ball. Really well, a nice drive for the Lions with that second unit coming down and showing what Coach Schwartz wants to see, and that's better seconds, creating depth for this team.
Tom Muehlbach, the long snapper. Perfect as usual. The Lions are in front 14-3 with a little bit more than 2 minutes to go in the opening half.
Well, get another look at that touchdown here. Let's watch Stephon Logan. He's on the bottom. And he's able to, that's just a tough matchup when you look at Craig Robertson, 235 pounds against a 160-pound Nat who's quick, like a water bug. He just gets in and gets out of the cut. But that's what the NFL is about. And that's what reading defense is about. Not only knowing what the coverage is, but knowing where the matchup is within that coverage, which you can exploit. You get a tight end on a small safety or on a corner. You see him flex Scheffler out. And this guy right here, Jim Schwartz, over the last few years has seemed to figure this out, doesn't he?
It's a well-thrown ball.
It
too,
is.
by the
It's,
way.
not a big window. Logan got a little bit of separation, but that's why I say Sean Hill. You're going to trade for a backup. Who's a better backup in the NFL right now?
Well, I tell you what, I think Sean Hill last year as well is as good as it gets. People in Philadelphia will say Kafka, he's pretty good. People in Pittsburgh will say Leftwich. People here in Cleveland will like a guy like Colt McCoy. I like what Sean Hill has been able to do so far.
Well, the difference is, like Colt McCoy, he had his chance here. He didn't make it. He didn't start. They went and replaced him. So I got to believe that the people in Cleveland might not love him.
Travis Benjamin muscles his way to the 20-yard line.
John Day Green coming down saying, show me the Benjamins that time.
Here's what's coming up on the Wallside Windows halftime report. Tom Lydon talks to head coach Jim Schwartz. We've got highlights and stats from the opening half, and Hall of Famer Charlie Sanders joins Tom with his perspective. All that coming up on the Wallside Windows halftime report and more. Sean Hill, by the way, 8 for 12, 78 yards, and a touchdown strike.
Now this is situational football with 2:05, Matt. Not offensively, but defense. You know, the defense has a 2-minute drill as well.
McCoy out of the shotgun, pressure from the edge. Throws it, and it's incomplete. There's a flag on that sideline, too. Josh Gordon, the intended receiver. Was he held by Alphonso Smith or not?
Look at Alphonso Smith. What he's got to do, though, sooner or later, read the eyes. You've got to try to make a play in the ball.
Number 86 on the offense. Half the distance, replay, first down.
Pat Shermer's got a lot to fix on these penalties so far. 1:59 remain. We've hit the 2-minute warning in the opening half. Lions on touchdowns from Keelan Williams and Sean Hill's throw. Lead at 14-3 on the Lions television network. 3 Lions in front of the Browns as Colt McCoy goes to work on the 2-minute offense for Cleveland, connecting to Jordan Norwood, the second-year pro out of Penn State, who also played a year of basketball, by the way, at State College. Cleveland suffering 7 miscues so far on this Friday night for 50 yards. Detroit has yet to have a flag thrown against them, and that's a good sign. I don't know if it carries over, but 128 penalties a year ago, 3rd most in the league to Oakland and Seattle. McCoy breaking tackles and high-stepping at the 45, and a flag on the play.
We're going to get Ricardo Silva for a late hit out of bounds.
Yeah, I spoke too soon, didn't I?
Boy, you got him pinned up on a second down and long, or first down and long, and able to get him out.
Personal foul, number 39 on the defense. 15-yard penalty.
Colt McCoy.
Added to the end of the run. Automatic.
Showing some quicks.
First down.
Boy, that is an absolutely
I'm not even sure Ricardo Silva, he dives at him. He never touches him.
Yeah.
I guess that's on intent. He wanted to hit him, he just missed him. Now, these guys have probably been told by the NFL, these replacement arrests, the biggest thing is let's protect the money, protect the quarterbacks.
Well, it's not the first questionable call we've seen tonight. We can't lose sight of the fact that Colt McCoy, even though Brandon Whedon was drafted in the first round, named the starter, he's playing for playing time too. I mean, he's a competitive guy. He's a starter. He feels like he's a starter anyway. Trips to his left, pressure from the edge, steps up, throws as he's being hit, and it's incomplete. Intended for Travis Benjamin.
Well, Justin Miller, the young corner they brought in here, a little bit of experience, also as a return guy. He gets turned around a little bit by Benjamin, and Colt McCoy, who's had some time in the pocket, but he's also been forced to scramble. He's going to take a shot this time. Everett Brown does a little loop under from his right defensive end position and delivers a blow and takes Colt McCoy down. But Justin Miller's got to do a little bit better job keeping his balance in that cornerback position when those receivers come out of their cuts.
Brown signed as a free agent in the offseason, playing for time as well. Another pass that's incomplete. Brown sideline wants a penalty. They don't get it.
Sean Jones on coverage that time, coming right over the top. Really defending. I think it was Evan Moore, the tight end, number 89. You're going to get a look at Sean Jones. It's going to be off to the right side here. The ball is delivered. He's banging, getting hit downfield. You know what? I don't think that's pass interference at the end, but I thought he had illegal contact prior to that where he chucked the tight end Moore about 10 yards down the field.
3rd down and 10 now for the Browns. Trailing 14-3, McCoy. Pressure comes, down he goes! Palmer and Brown with a tag team sack.
Well, you sent out the invitations from Ashley Palmer for Everett Brown and Ronell Lewis. Let's meet at the quarterback. Let's get a look. Everett Brown was in on the last play on the hit. keeps working. Really not bad protection. He's the initial one to get the handle on, and then Palmer and Lewis come and clean it up. Everett Brown, one of those highly touted guys coming out of Florida State, Shep.
Yeah, second round choice by Carolina.
Man, if you remember watching him when he played for the Seminoles, he was almost unblockable in the ACC, and then just never really panned out the way they thought he would. And I think he could be a valuable pickup for the Lions to give them, once again, even more depth at that defensive end position, but it becomes such a numbers game.
Yeah, he had 23 sacks in his career down in Tallahassee, 5th most in school history. Was a second-team All-American as a junior. Timeout for the Lions. We'd like to welcome all of our stations on the Lions Television Network carrying the preseason games this year. WXMI in Grand Rapids, WNEM in Flint, Saginaw, and Bay City, WSYM in Lansing, WFQX in Cadillac and Traverse City, beautiful Traverse City, WJMN in Marquette, and WTOL, our friends to the south of us in Toledo. Thanks for being with us on this.
All those wonderful fans in Newberry will be tuned in. And
I would guess so.
Marquette station, I'm guessing.
Can they get that in the hunting?
Well, I hope so. My family went in to watch it with my folks tonight, so hopefully they're carrying it.
Logan with a fair catch. So Brother Fred and company aren't falling asleep yet, huh?
No, but it's I love this. I think this gets better. I know people say, oh, it's a preseason game.
I know.
Second half doesn't mean anything. It means a ton.
Isn't it funny how when the football season ends, we constantly talk about, boy, we could watch football 12 months of the year. We miss football. Then we get the preseason, and all we hear people complain about is, oh, it's the preseason. You know what? There's a lot of guys fighting for work out here. You just got to know football in order to figure it out.
And these are players that you're going to be seeing. You know, 4 years ago, no one knew who Cliff Aver was. He was a guy that barely made the team out of Purdue. And now
Willie Young.
Yeah, or Willie Young. And now these are going to be integral parts of your defense.
Kellen Moore, the new quarterback for the Lions. An inside give to Keelan Williams. He's been a workhorse on this Friday night. Moore, a free agent, undrafted free agent out of Boise State. Owns the NCAA record for wins in a college football career, 50-3. He'll throw with under 40 seconds to go and connects to Will Heller. Check that Nathan Overbay, and they rule it incomplete, that he bobbled it.
Oh, this is a situation here now. It's going to be 3rd down and 5. If the Lions don't pick this up, does Pat Shurmur call a timeout? If I'm him, I would.
Sure.
Just for the fact that give your team, the more plays you can run with your 2s and your 3s in preseason, the more valuable of a learning tool and evaluation tool it can be.
Scott Linehan says Kellen Moore has great command of the offense. A delay handoff to Williams. He won't pick up the first down. Let's see what Cleveland does. A gain of 4. He needed 5. Pat Shurmur did call the timeout. You can't carry him over into the second half. Why not use him?
Yeah, and you know what, Matt? The way the NFL is now with the new collective bargaining agreement, in a limited amount of times that teams can hit during the regular season, that they can hit with full pads and training camp, they just don't beat each other up enough. And it's hard sometimes to evaluate certain positions. If you don't get to go full go, if you don't get to tackle. How do you know if a corner can tackle? We go to practice, they don't tackle ever. So this is an opportunity.
That's a great point.
In a regular game situation where they have to tackle. So the more plays you can run, obviously barring injury, the more valuable it is to a team.
And we understand that most teams go into the preseason. Of the 53 men they will carry on their roster, 43, 44, maybe 45 have spots. It's those other valuable 8+ spots that these guys are fighting for. Ryan Donahue, that's ready to punt it deep.
Beautiful.
A fair catch made at the 35. Cleveland has 21 seconds and 2 timeouts to try and get in at least field goal range, but there is a late flag.
Shep, that was almost a 50-yard punt. Beautiful. Ryan Donahue's fighting with Ben Graham for the punting job. 50-yard punt, no return. I thought it was returnable, but fair catch.
During the return, blocking the back, number 36 on the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That is 8 penalties now on the Cleveland Browns, who went 4-12 a year ago.
And not because of their defense. This defense was sound last year.
Hey, you know what? And it wasn't because they turned the ball over. They only committed 19 turnovers. That's the fourth fewest in the league last year.
Their problem was that they just could not move the ball, and they couldn't put points on the board. So Pat Sherman and his staff decided they go and get another quarterback. That Cole McCoy wasn't getting it done, and they bring in Whedon out of Oklahoma State.
Well, think about this. They scored 21 touchdowns last year. Here's a draw.
How many Kelvin had?
Kelvin at 16.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they only threw 16 touchdown passes. Matthew Stafford threw 41 by himself. Think about that. It's amazing, isn't it? Another timeout for Cleveland gives us an opportunity to give you tonight's big picture play of the half, brought to you by Gardner White Furniture.
And it's going to be Keelan Williams coming right into your living room here. He goes to the right, then pops it back to the left. And what I like Shepard's I saw in this was the burst. I didn't know he had that kind of quicks, and he really, when he came out of there, when he made his decisive cut and went north and south, he went north.
He's fighting for a spot. He's made a nice impression so far. And this coaching staff knows what he can do from last year, right? I mean, Sam Gash, who is the running backs coach, knows what he can do. Jim Schwartz knows what he can do. As Schwartz talks things over with Tahir Whitehead, the really good-looking linebacker out of Temple, a 5th-round choice who they really, really like.
But you know, Matt, when you get down to those final numbers, you know there's X amount of positions. Let's say there's 4 positions, and you got 6 guys. Like being at my table when I was growing up, there was like 3 drumsticks, but there's 6 siblings. So, you know, I obviously had the longest arms. That's why I got the biggest, because I could reach it quick. But it's just tough. And you start, as a player, you sit in your room at night and you start thinking, man, if he does this, if I do that, you start doing that head count thing, it can drive you crazy.
12 seconds to go for number 12, and a nice grab, pass behind him as they get to midfield. A good catch by Evan Moore. And Cleveland burns its final timeout.
I think with only 5 seconds, being this far out, Matt, I think they got to kind of throw it up down the field.
Sure.
Maybe get a chance to work on their Hail Mary, which you can run in practice, but it's not the same because no one can hit. It's not. Now you take this opportunity if you're Pat Shermer, the head coach.
They're going to give him 2 more seconds too, Rob. So
that helps. Now you have a chance with 1 timeout. No timeouts remaining. You can throw a 10 or 15-yard out and possibly set up a long field goal.
Cole McCoy's had a pretty decent half. 6 for 8, 88 yards so far. Plus he's rushed the ball well. There's his numbers so far on the night. Seneca Wallace might see some action in the 3rd quarter, and Thaddeus Lewis as well. Jim Schwartz will join Tom Lydon before he hits the locker room to talk about the first half. 4 wide receiver set for McCoy. He'll keep Jackson in just for protection. Pressure comes, it didn't help. Down he goes, Everett Brown with another sack. His 2nd of the half. He's looked quick off the edge.
Well, you're going to see right here, look on the right side of the screen. He's beat the tackle a couple times with the inside move. That time he just does a speed rush to the edge. He gets pressure, gets inside. Also Robertson as well getting in there, meeting at the quarterback.
Tom Lydon now with Lions head coach Jim Schwartz, brought to you by the Detroit Medical Center. Tom?
Some good balance in the first half, Coach. Tell us a little bit about what you thought about your offensive unit.
We need to score a little bit more, particularly early. We didn't do a good job keeping those drives alive. A couple guys are running hard, though. It's good to see.
On the defensive side of the ball, you did force turnovers on 2 of the first 3 drives. Bill Bentley coming up with a pick. You pleased with what you've seen from those guys?
You should have had 2. We haven't played real well. It's been a little sloppy at a couple situations that they ran the ball that they shouldn't have been able to run the ball. It looks like a preseason game. We have a lot of work to do.
Okay, Coach, thanks for a quick minute. We'll see you in the second half. Coach is never pleased, I guess. He should have had to. Stay with us. The Wallside Windows halftime report rolls your way in just a minute. One questionable penalty and a rushing average of more than 6 yards per carry. Just a couple of the highlights Charlie Sanders and I will discuss on the other side of the break as the Wallside Windows halftime report comes your way. Stay with us. Welcome back to Ford Field. The Wallside Windows halftime report continues. I'm Tom Lydon, standing with the face of the franchise, Matthew Stafford. And I know you might have had a little bit of convincing of the coaching staff. No quarterback wants to get out of there throwing a pick. Did you want to get back in for that third drive?
Yeah, absolutely. You never want to turn the ball over, whether it's preseason or regular season. And it was good to get out there with the first unit, just move the ball a little bit. Obviously would have loved to put one in the end zone, but it's preseason. We're going to learn from it and get better.
So much attention on the running backs, and much of the conversation has centered on the names Javid Best, Michael LaSure, Kevin Smith. It's been Keelan Williams out here tonight. Is that a little secret weapon that you guys knew you had in your back pocket?
Yeah, he played for us some last year, done a great job for us, this year during camp, and I think Kevin and Keelan have done a really nice job tonight.
Good stuff. We appreciate a couple minutes. I know you're going to watch the rest of the game with us.
Absolutely, you got it.
All right, thanks a lot. That is Matthew Stafford. Matt and Rob, let's send it back up to you in the booth.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. No reason to be concerned over that one interception. No reason to be concerned that the first offensive unit didn't necessarily score, but your overall thoughts on the 14-3 first half?
Well, I think Matthew Stafford's going to be a politician someday. You see, he brought in Keelan Williams. We also brought in Kevin Smith. But overall impressions are the offense is a little bit rusty early on, as most offenses are during training camp, because defenses are reactive, and they're usually ahead. But I saw some good things. I saw some individual efforts, which I liked. I thought Riley Reif did pretty well at the offensive tackle. Maybe later in the half we'll get a chance to do some isolating of them and get a closer look. I also thought Bill Bentley competed extremely well at the cornerback position. So I'm looking forward to the second half.
Yeah, we've talked about Bill Bentley before, and we told people we think you're going to like him. We think you're going to eventually like Riley Reif. But Bill Bentley might be a more impact contributor despite being a later round pick than Riley Reif.
And especially you're going to see that in the preseason, because he's left out on an island a lot with the receivers, and Riley Reif right now in the running game, you don't really see it as much. So I like Bill Bentley, though, and I want to get a closer look at Jonte Green a little bit. We saw Alfonso Smith there competing for the ball. So this is a secondary that people have a lot of concerns about. I have concerns, too, as you do, Chef, and we talk about them. But I think they have some capable people who are trying to get that position and get the playing time.
Yeah, they have some guys who are trying to prove themselves to this staff and, quite honestly, to this fan base. Riley Reif playing at the left tackle position. A lot of things expected of the 23rd overall pick, and so far he's performed pretty well.
Yeah, and I like how he's able to adjust on the fly. We see right here, inside pass rush. He takes the defender down inside. This time he's just sealing off inside on an inside run, getting his body into the hole. And then look at Jason Fox, who's also competing very well.
Yeah.
We haven't had a chance to see much of him because he's been nicked his first few years, but doing a good job keeping his base, not overextending in the pass protection and running the defender by, allowing time for Sean Hill to find Stephon Logan for the touchdown.
We look at Jeff Backus, we look at Gosder Sherlis as the starters. These two guys have been locked in those positions, especially Backus, but these two guys could be your future left and right tackle holders, and they've they've had good punches at the line of scrimmage. You always talk about punches, like you punched me the other night in the open practice. These guys get their arms extended, don't they?
They do, and you got to remember Jeff Backus isn't getting any
I want
younger.
to hit you right back. You know that, don't you?
But I love Jeff Backus. He's a warrior.
Yeah.
He's not getting any younger. His days are numbered. So why not have the opportunity to bring in a young tackle like Riley Reif and not wait to get hit in the face with a position that you can't fill at left tackle? Plan ahead, and that's what the Lions and Martin Mayhew are doing right now.
I like what Jason Fox has done too. He's learned an awful lot. Sure, first couple of years have been frustrating for him, but he's learned a lot from Jeff Backus. He's learned a lot from Gosder Sherris. He's in better shape. He understands the game a little bit better, and it's showing.
Well, he has an NFL body. When you see the young man, 6'7", 310 pounds, and he's ready to play already with that type of body. All he needs is experience. Playing at the University of Miami, he saw some outstanding pass rush ends, but not like he's going to see week after week in the NFL.
So Cleveland will get a second half crack at it first to try and get something on the board, and a decent return out to the 24-yard line or so. The problem with Cleveland in that opening half was the penalties, 8 in all. We talked with Bernie Kosar, who does the Cleveland Browns television broadcast at half, and he says, it's almost unfair, but it sure is fun to watch. Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson connect. And as a guy who quarterbacked in this league for a long, long time, played in a lot of games, he can appreciate it.
You remember his receivers were the smaller, wasn't it like Webster Slaughter?
Yeah,
remember
Brian
Webster
Brennan.
And Brian Brennan, he had the smaller receiver. He did have there's a good look at Bernie. He did have Reggie Langhorne. a little bit bigger receiver out there, but Bernie was an outstanding quarterback. Just had a lot of fun watching him quarterback the Browns for years.
Seneca Wallace is into the ballgame, the third quarterback for Cleveland. Hit immediately, connecting but out of bounds on the far sideline. Another good pressure by the Lions.
Well, Seneca Wallace new into the game. Everett Brown with a spin move, but it comes from the other side. That's Ronell Lewis. We talked about him. He's got that burst, Shep, and he's got the smaller body, which can be a problem. These big big offensive tackles, they don't mind those big rush ends sometimes because they can get it. They're not quite as quick. But you bring in a guy like Ronell Lewis, Cliff Averill, Willie Young with that burst, it's tough to defend.
And don't kid yourself, Ronell Lewis noticed what Everett Brown did in that opening half. Unofficially, 2 sacks, maybe 2 quarterback hurries, and since they were a combined sack, maybe 1 total, but Ronell Lewis realizes that there's some competition for that backup defensive end.
And there is. Everett Brown, he's been in the league, so he has that experience, which there's no replacement for. There's nothing you can do as a rookie to gain that except play, and he doesn't have that right now. And Ronell Lewis is too good of a player maybe to try to pass through waivers and put on a practice squad.
3rd down and 6. Wallace flushed from the pocket by Lewis. Throws out of bounds and incomplete. Boy, the pressure has been consistent most of the night, hasn't it?
Yeah, Ronell Lewis, we were just talking about him. His ears must have been burned a little bit because he really comes off the edge. And we're going to get a look once again. Let's pause it on the beginning. There he goes and watch us. Just a little rip underneath, speed moving. Seneca Wallace doesn't help his cause by rolling to the pressure side. And as an offensive tackle, you hate that. When you try to run your guy up the field and the quarterback rolls right into it. But you got to like that get off the line of scrimmage by Ronell.
Lions on the return. Jared Dillard then swarmed under at about the 19-yard line. But the Lions, leading 14-3, get their first offensive possession of the second half when we return. Lions readying for their first offensive possession of the second half. They lead at 14-3. Welcome back to Ford Field. Alongside Rob Rubick, Tom Lydon on the sidelines. I'm Matt Shepard. Glad you're with us on this Friday night. And hope you can follow us all season long in the preseason and regular season right here on your home for Lions football, Channel 7. Kellen Moore remains in at quarterback for Detroit. 23-year-old, so impressive at Boise State. Father was a coach. And as I mentioned in the first half, Scott Linehan saying great command of the offense, really understands it well. I formation behind him. To the ground they go with Joyke Bell. Joyke Bell could have gone to a Big Ten school. Michigan State, Michigan wanted him as a defensive player, but he wanted to run the football. Went to Wayne State, set all kinds of school records, and has been extremely impressive in preseason camps with New Orleans and hoping to do the same here in Detroit.
Well, he was on the active roster the last couple games of the season for the Lions last year, so he has the experience, I think. And the only thing Joyke really lacks is that top NFL speed because he has good vision and good strength and balance.
Good throw by Moore to connect at the 40-yard line. Nate Hughes hauls it in for a first down.
This is just a deep dig in route. Kellen Moore, this is the pass I thought he might struggle with because he doesn't have a lot of arm strength. But you said, Matt, he's intelligent, he anticipates, and if you don't have the great Matthew Stafford type of strength, you just got to throw a little bit quicker. You got to anticipate, you got to trust your receivers, and that's what Kellen Moore did.
On the money for a first down and a pickup of 16. Bell again, trying the right side.
Matt, you commented on Joyke when we had a chance to talk to him. You look at him physically, he almost has the body of a fullback. He's almost that
he's
big.
Thick.
He's 225,
really thick,
and there's no fat on him. But he's a tailback, and I'd say he's kind of a tweener in the NFL. At Wayne State, he was the top back. I believe he won the Harlan Hill Trophy as the outstanding Division II college football player, which is equivalent to the Heisman in Division I.
Great personality, too.
All smiles out of Benton Harbor, Michigan.
2nd down and 9. Moore sidesteps, throws, and it is knocked away and incomplete. Intended for Nate Hughes. Good play by Buster Screen, who started the game and is still playing here into this third quarter.
Yeah, he's their nickelback. He played a lot last year. I remember the preseason game as well. We're going to look here at Kellen Moore. This is really not a poorly thrown ball. Nate Hughes has got to get a little more separation, get the window bigger for the quarterback. It takes a little while to get there. Buster Screen, 22, makes a good play on the ball.
Brings up a 3rd down and 9 from Moore and the Lions. They lead at 14-3. A touchdown run from Keelan Williams and a 3-yard touchdown strike from Sean Hill to Stephon Logan. Moore across the middle, and it is incomplete, intended for Dillard.
But you can just see the difference. Kellen Moore is a touch quarterback. In other words, he doesn't zip the ball. He has to anticipate and throw the ball to where the receiver is going to be earlier, because when you see the ball come out of his hands, it does not look like when it comes out of number 9's hands. And he gets stepped on also. Is that big Corey Hilliard, 78? Steps on a little bit. But you know what? He was an outstanding collegiate quarterback because he could make all the throws at the college level. My question is, would he be able to make them all at this level? We know he's intelligent, Matt. And we know he's a competitor. We know he's a winner. But he also has to be able to throw that 20-yard cross and that 22-yard comeback.
Jordan Norwood from his own 12. Slipped the tackle and another. And another. Beat Ben Graham. Beat Lance Long. And is corralled from behind by Maurice Stovall inside the Detroit 45-yard line. You want a difference? Sometimes you must look to the special teams. And Stovall, who was down at one point, got up, tracked him down for a tackle.
Back at Ford Field, the Lions holding a 14-3 lead early in the 3rd quarter. Right there, we just had a nice look at Jordan Norwood. Now, we're going to watch a couple things on this return. First of all, pause right here. Watch Maurice Stovall. He's going to come down. He's going to get blocked and miss the original tackle. He ends up on the ground, but he's going to come back into play later. Now, let it run. Let it run now. Pause it right here. We talked about this young man being a running back instead of playing defense. Let it go. This is why you made the right decision, Joy, because he whiffed on Jordan Norwood. But really something the Browns need, as you said, going into the break, Matt. Sometimes special teams gives you that spark that you need.
A net 1 yard on the punt because of the return by Jordan Norwood. There's a look at Joy Bell.
He's not going to like us busting his chops like that, but he kind of got saved by the play starting that time. We're getting ready to show his own. You know what? I was the fullback on punts for years. There's nothing worse than getting down the field and all of a sudden you see Billy White Shoes Johnson standing at 3 feet in front of you, and you know you don't have a chance of even touching him.
Incomplete pass from Seneca Wallace, intended for his backup tight end, Dan Gronkowski, trying to make this squad. Dan Gronkowski, of course, in Lions camp. Has a couple of brothers playing in the NFL as well.
Well, didn't they traded him to Denver, I believe?
Correct. That's right. It's part of the Tony Scheffler deal. Or the Alfonso Smith deal. I'm sorry. Yeah. I formation behind Seneca Wallace on a 2nd down and 10. Play action. Pressure comes. Down he goes, and he throws to an empty spot.
Wow, I tell you what, the floodgates have opened up front for this Lions defense. They're coming. Let's even right here up at the top.
That's a safety beating a tackle.
That's Ricardo Silva coming off the edge on the safety blitz. And then Andre Fluellen coming in late from his defensive tackle position.
O'Neal Cousins has struggled tonight as the left tackle.
Andre getting held bad too. He's able to beat the block.
Cousins the backup left tackle for Cleveland. 5th-year guy out of UTEP. Here's a 3rd down play. Wallace quickly underneath, and it's caught. One-hand grab across the middle, close to a 1st down. Nice catch made by Josh Cooper.
Well, you know, it was a good catch, reaching back, grabbing the ball, but it's really impressive. You can see he's right in the slot. He's just going to come across. Watch this. After he catches it, he's going to get hit right away. He pulls it down. And he's able to hang on. It's not like he's in the open field running down the field, Matt. He's got a defender there trying to knock the ball out. So
I think that ball was tipped by Drew Coleman, to be honest with you. Here's a 4th down play, and Cleveland pushes the chains forward. They go for it and convert on 1st down.
It's going to be a little off tackle to the left. Good job. Look at the double team, the movement by the big tackles, Elford and Greco, former Toledo Rocket, getting a good push in there. A nice little running lane to get the 1st down.
First and 10 from the 15. Pressure comes. Wallace sets up the screen. Slipping inside the 10-yard line is Chris Abanaye. So now he's 2nd down and 5 now for the Browns.
Well, listen, watch right in the middle. You got Lewis. You got Whitehead, 59. He reads it quickly, but just not quickly enough. It allows that lineman to get out there. And that's the difference in the NFL. It's about a half a second. If he reads at a half a second quicker, that lineman has no angle on him. He might pick it off or break it up for no gain.
O'Brien stumbled his way, trying to find his way behind John Greco. Greco in his 5th year. He was traded here a year ago from St. Louis. Big number 77, 6'4", 315-pounder. He's the backup center to Alex Mack. Well, we talked about the consistency of Joe Thomas and Alex Mack at the beginning of the broadcast. Those two have played every snap of their career. Every snap, not every game, but every snap. That's impressive. 3rd down and 7 for the Browns. Wallace wants to throw for it. Pressure comes again. Eludes it to the outside. Keeps the play alive. And it's a touchdown for Cleveland. Great footwork on the part of Seneca Wallace.
He's able to find Brad Smelly, the fullback, leaking in the end zone. And Seneca Wallace looks like a point guard here. When the pressure comes, he scrambles out of the pocket. Now, is any good point guard, he'll draw the defense, and then just toss it right over the top to the open Smelly.
Rookie out of Alabama scores the 7th-round pick. Cleveland's first touchdown of the night, and it's 14-9 with the extra point pending.
How come I thought he was a tight end with the Tide?
Because he was.
He's listed as a fullback, I believe.
H-back, yeah. He also won 3 state championships in high school in baseball. Pretty impressive. Extra point is up, and the extra point is through. So Wallace with a nice toss, but it was his feet that allowed him to keep the play alive, and the Browns reach pay dirt to pull within 4 on the Lions Television Network. Jim Schwartz's club, their lead trimmed to 4. 14-10 now here at Ford Field. Catch all the hot cars and cruise in action with our special coverage of the Woodward Dream Cruise presented by Chevrolet. Next Sunday, August 18th at 7, only on 7. Every year, great job covering the Dream Cruise. I've already started to see some of the cars show up. I can't wait. Seneca Wallace on that drive, 3 for 5 for 26 yards and a touchdown to get Cleveland to within 4. Jeff Wolford will kick it away for Cleveland. Strong right leg. Justin Miller, 2 yards deep. Upended, shy of the 15-yard line. Miller hoping to prove himself in the preseason, as is Kellen Moore, who's back out there for another drive for the Lions. He's got some guys on that offensive line who are going to play, make this team. Guys who are hoping to make it. Corey Hilliard. Riley Reif remains out there. Reif, the 1st-round pick, 23rd overall out of Iowa on the left side. James Bryant is the fullback. Moore wants to throw. Going up top. And it is incomplete.
I think that's Terrence Tolliver.
Yeah, it is.
Big receiver.
Out of Louisiana State.
Just doesn't have really good top-end speed. And you can see that here. We talked about Drake Bell being a tweener at running back. He's kind of a tweener, too. It almost moves like a tight end, but he's a wideout. He just has a problem. You see him in practice up close. Man, that's a big body, but he just doesn't have that type of burst.
Got to get separation if you're a wide receiver, don't you?
Yep, you got to give a window to your quarterback.
Bryant, the fullback, he's in his 2nd year out of Louisville. Blocking for Joik Bell, getting the edge, stiff-arming his way to the 20-yard line. ballet hoopster in high school as well from Benton Harbor. So had some really good basketball players over the years, and always a threat, seemingly, to win or contend for state championships. Third down now and 6.
Well, this is where I think Kellen Moore would be pretty proficient right now. You don't have to throw the ball down the field per se. You can dump it off an underneath route, maybe the back out, and he's pretty accurate.
Throws, and Tolliver dropped it. Can't do that if you want to make a football club, and you're on that bubble.
Well, especially with the Detroit Lions as a receiver.
Yeah, it's so hard.
You know, you look at Nate Burleson and Kelvin Johnson and Titus Young on the top end, and here's Titus's former quarterback, Kellen Moore, throwing the ball. It's delivered, but you can't let it get in your body. And I know we hear this all the time by every announcer out there, but you really do need to use your hands as a shock absorber to bring that ball in. And if you miss with your hands, you still got a chance to double clutch it off your chest. But if your chest is your first option, when it bounces off that, you're done.
If you said it enough, everybody would catch it that way, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Ben Graham, end-over-end kick. Jordan Norwood, good return last time. We'll try it again. And stumbles his way to about the 47-yard line or so. 7:21 remaining in the third. Detroit leads at 14-10 on Channel 7 and the Lions television network.
It's 21 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. Lions lead the Browns 14-10. There is a young man who has made quite a national splash because of his initiative. He's 9-year-old Joshua Smith, lives on the west side of Detroit. He took it upon himself to raise some money for the struggling city, selling lemonade and popcorn right out of his front yard. He raised $3,600. Very impressive. Detroit City Council awarded him the Spirit of Detroit Award. He also got a personal call from Mayor Dave Bing. Very impressive for this 9-year-old who was brought to Ford Field today to watch this game in person. Matt, back to you.
Couldn't have done it my age, let alone 9. Well done. Seneca Wallace with a give. And into Lions territory. Guys up front for the Cleveland Browns. Linemen and waiting for their chance is a guy like Garth Gerhardt, the rookie out of Arizona State, whose brother is Toby, plays in Minnesota. You talk about an athletic family. Triplet sisters all played college football, or college softball rather. So the brothers on the football side, the sisters on the softball side of things.
Carmen Messina's in the game, number 47, just made the tackle, Matt. He's one that's really up against the numbers game.
Oh, yeah. Any linebacker. You talked about wide receivers before, linebackers as well.
Well, the three, as you said, the 3 starters are set, and then you draft Tahir Whitehead and Travis Lewis. And if you're only going to keep 6, well, that's 5 spots right there. And then Doug Hogue, the veteran, is still there. You got to account for him as well. And as I said, it gets really difficult. Ashley Palmer as well.
The senior rookie out of New Mexico. Wallace throws, caught, first down. Cleveland still on his feet. Evan Moore, and finally grappled down at the 30-yard line. Sean Jones and the aforementioned Doug Hogue combined on the tackle.
That's a couple tackles Ricardo Silva has missed here this evening, and I know that's a mismatch physically. Moore probably has 50 or 60 pounds on Silva. We're going to watch him come right out of the tight end slot, work his way up the field, and it's man-to-man coverage, and uses his big body. We don't get a look there, but he gets a little bit of a push off. But Silva's got to be able to finish the tackle. He was in position and just couldn't make it.
Draw up the middle. Not much doing there. Drew Coleman in on the tackle for Detroit. So second down and 10 now for the Browns as we approach the 5-minute mark of the third. Wallace will throw. And it is caught far sideline and dragged out of bounds at the 28-yard line. One of the backup wide receivers for Cleveland, Rod Windsor. neither team very efficient on third down conversions tonight. Detroit pretty good in that category a year ago. 6th best in the league. This is 3rd down and 8 for Cleveland. 3-step drop for Wallace and incomplete. Jonte Green on the coverage of Windsor. That's the guy Rob was talking about. Green wears 36, the rookie out of New Mexico State, a 6th-round choice.
It was like a Jonte. He has that skill. We talk about speed. But he allows Windsor to get, I think, too easy of a release inside on the slant route. And Windsor just dropped the ball, went right through his hands, forcing a field goal attempt by the Browns.
Green told me he played a lot of man at New Mexico State, and that's why he thinks the Lions drafted him.
Well, that's the hardest thing to evaluate. So many colleges play so much zone that you don't know how their man skills. In the NFL, you have to have both.
Field goal attempt for Cleveland is wide. And Detroit's defense holds. Gives their offense an opportunity to pad their lead. It stands at 4 with 4:15 remaining in the third. The opening half, they're up 14-10 with 4:15 remaining here in the third. Welcome back to Channel 7's coverage of Lions preseason alongside Rob Rubik, Tom Lydon. I'm Matt Shepard. Here's the young Cubs for the Lions, the draft picks from this past season's draft. Riley Reef taken in the first round, 23rd overall, and then they went wide receiver before directing their attention to the defensive side of the ball. Joique Bell found a little bit of a sliver of an opening and gets to the 40-yard line. And Riley Reef remains in there. Jim Schwartz says you can see his athleticism, Rob. His technique is improving. You see daily improvement from him.
Yeah, you do, Matt, but this is so important. We talked in the open about he's going to play a lot because this is how you get better.
Right.
You can get better in practice, but you can get way better quicker in a game at full speed, running the plays against someone that doesn't know what you're doing and you don't know what he's doing.
Did a nice job blocking for Joique Bell on that play as well. And then Bell is upended at the 42-yard line. Riley Reef comes from a really small town. It has one light.
Let's get a look at Riley, number 7, top of the screen. Works hard up the field. Not a bad job. You like to see, even keep your body to the hole. Don't let the defender throw you. Keep your base. Once you reeled him up the field, you like to see him be able to set solid. And then he got thrown up the field a little bit. When we watch him practice, he struggled with the speed rush, I thought, because if he sat heavy, they would go around. In other words, if he took on the big rush, but if he sat light, they would just bowl him over at times. But he's only going to get better. Time will make him better.
Yeah, he's admitted that the speed of the game, and everybody says this, going from college to pro, the speed of the game is the most difficult thing to get adjusted to.
I played with a guy named Rich Stringer when he came out of Michigan, a 2nd-round draft pick. In the first 10 days of camp, all everyone could say was he was a bust. The second 10 days of camp, they're like, what a good pick. They adjust. If you're an athlete and you're a player, you'll figure it out. And I think that's what Riley's doing, and hopefully he'll do that right before our eyes. It's the guys that are heavy-legged, that are athletic in their feet, that never can adjust to the speed.
Moore wants to throw on first down. Down the sideline and incomplete.
Big Dominic Curry in the game.
A little behind Dominic Curry.
Get a little better look here. You can Kellen Moore sitting up. Jason Fox, good protection, run him down inside. He's able to step up into the throw. I think Kellen thinks he has one here. A little bit behind Dominic. He reaches back, can't make the play. But as I said earlier, and I'm not dogging Kellen Moore, but there's just not a lot on the ball, which puts a lot more pressure on him to make the throws because he's got to anticipate and throw earlier.
Bell.
Oh, what a nice run.
Sure was. Reversing his field and getting to the 45-yard line of Cleveland. Picked up the 7.
At the risk of showing my age, that was almost Three Stooges-esque. He starts going to the right. He sees a bunch of people coming in. Woo, woo, woo. He backs up, cuts back. He runs kind of vertical, straight up. But look at him. He really has nice vision and a good feel. Because I thought that was going to be a broken down, another 2-yard loss, and he's able to pick up 7 yards.
And make it a 3rd down and 3. Moore looking right, lofting for Hughes, and too far.
Well, he got some pressure that time, Matt. Brian Schafering was able to put Kellen Moore on his back, but I thought he had enough time to deliver the ball. I know it was Nate Hughes came a little bit slow out of his cut. Kellen Moore struggled a little bit, but welcome to the NFL. This is not, you're not in Boise State anymore, Dorothy. You know what I'm saying? She's tough. These guys are back in the white shirts in the secondary. They're all fast. They all break on the ball. Your windows are smaller. The pressure comes quicker. And if you try to avoid the pressure, those guys will chase you down faster.
Graham angles for the coffin corner. No, it's going to drift it to the 5-yard line. Norwood with a fair catch at the 5. But Graham might have been going for the far pylon. Instead, he kicked it to the hash, and Norwood made the fair catch. Might be something he might want to think twice about next time. Rarely do you do that inside the 10. Kids Day at Lions Training Camp is this Sunday at 3 o'clock at the training facility in Allen Park. Enjoy Lions inflatables, face painting, photo opportunities, and a kids-only player autograph tent. Lions Kids Day at Training Camp this Sunday. Gates will open for you at 2 o'clock. Hope you can make it out there.
People love camp, don't they, Shep, when we walk around?
They really do.
Well, it's such a different venue for them. They get to be up close, see the guys, and the Lions are wonderful. Jim Schwartz's staff of having the players stand around after, sign autographs along the fence. Well,
it gives you a different perspective,
it does.
Don't you think? I mean, I don't think you can truly appreciate the speed, the size, the strength, and skill on TV as Messina makes a nice tackle. You really can. And then when you get there, and you and I have sat with many fans at training camp this year, they're always talking about the size of these guys.
I'm talking about size and speed. Look at Carmen Messina. Good read, and that's just instinct and reading the play correctly, getting into the lane that's available. He reads the guard. He flies through there. He knows the back will be there. He meets him for a 2-yard loss.
Out of Addison, Illinois, a former All-Stater there. Under a minute to go here in the third. 2nd down and 12 for Seneca Wallace. He'll throw from the goal line. Pump fake, throw down the sideline, and caught at the 30-yard line. Nice haul in there. Jonte Green never turned his head around.
Oh, this is my pet peeve. These defensive backs. Jonte Green, you have the speed. You're running with the receiver. Now you need to figure out, read the receiver's eyes, read his hands. You're looking at him, you're just jogging. You got to make a play, but you know what? To the credit of the receiver, Carlton Mitchell, he waits to the very last minute to put his hands up. And that's a well-thrown ball by Seneca Wallace. Jonte Green in position just does not make the play.
Pickup of 34. This time on the ground, Adonis Thomas, the rookie out of Toledo, a free agent signing, trying to latch onto this club.
Doug Hogue once again, though, from his linebacker position, made 2 or 3 plays. We saw him in the last time the Browns were down inside the red zone. He came up and took on a pulling guard and pushed him back into the ball carrier. Doug Hogue, another one who's in heavy competition here at that linebacker position.
He told me he's got a totally different mindset coming into this season. We'll explain coming up as Wallace throws an incomplete pass, and that'll do it for 3 quarters. Detroit still holding on. They're up 14-10 as we begin the 4th at Ford Field. Stay with us. Lions preseason action on Channel 7 and the Lions Television Network rolls on this Friday night right after this brief timeout.
Hey fans, I want you to do me a favor and head over to teambernie.com. It's my new website, and I'm on a mission to have the funnest and fittest fans in sports. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you can learn all about it at teambernie.com or by calling 855-GO-KOSAR, 855-GO-KOSAR. That's teambernie.com.
Josh Cooper just made the catch on that pass by Seneca Wallace, but when he came back and made one extra move after he caught the ball, he gave up the first down, and he's a yard away. They're going to go for it on 4th down. They are 4th down and 1. Adonis Thomas is the running back, and he is not set up correctly. And now, wait a minute, the Lions call timeout. They weren't set up correctly either.
Yeah, I think they were worried about Seneca just doing a quick quarterback sneak.
And the Lions quickly called a timeout. So the Browns still showing signs that they will go for it on 4th down. They're at the 46-yard line. It's 4th down and 1 on their own side of the field. Down by 4 points, 14-10. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with that 4th down play after this.
Setting up like they're going to punt it away on 4th down and 1. Jared Dillard is back deep with his heels at his own 10. And backup punter Spencer Lanning will drive one home from his own 32. Christian Yount, the long snapper. Good punt. Dillard, though, lets it watch go over his head. Maybe it's a bad punt because he went all the way through the end zone and gives Detroit 1st and 10 from the 20. Catch all the hot cars and the cruise action with our special coverage of the Woodward Dream Cruise presented by Chevrolet. It's next Saturday, August 18th at 7 and only here on 7. Speaking of special teams, it's Danny Crossman talking with Jim Schwartz, special teams coach for Detroit. An area Detroit would like to shore up a little bit this year. The special teams not as efficient as they would have liked a season ago. Moore with an inside give. Some room for Joik Bell, spun around shy of the 35.
You know, once again, you run into the dilemma if you're a coach too. You're evaluating Joik Bell, you're evaluating your offensive line, but you're always hoping you're comparing apples and apples. You know, do they have twos? Do they have threes? Do they have guys that won't even be there? Are you playing with some starting linemen? So it gives an advantage. And that's why they get paid the big money. Coaches have to understand what they're against, look at it, and evaluate him on his own merits.
About 5 yards per carry for Joik Bell right now. Stays true to that average, breaking tackles and into Cleveland territory.
He's pretty good, though. I don't know who he's playing against and who's blocking for him, but he can run. He has really nice vision. You check out his eyeballs there. He sees it. Once again, he stretches it. It's a zone play, and that's how you want to run the zone. You want to stretch the defense, make them try to go down the line, and then you find the seam. Is the seam outside, straight ahead here, or is it a cutback? He's seen the cutback lane. That's a pretty aggressive defense over pursuing, and he's taking advantage of it.
Pick up at 21, 1st and 10. Bell, the workhorse in the second half. More big yards as he tumbles for another 1st down.
Well, we've seen Joik's good cutback vision, but he also has the ability to make someone miss. Okay, let's pause it right here. Oh, just a little bit late. You see the first defender, let it go. The first defender comes up to make the play, and that's Antoine Reed, and he doesn't even get a shoelace of Joik Bell. So we've seen the vision, we've seen the ability to make someone miss. The only thing we haven't seen is that top end speed, which I think Joik said he's improved on a little bit, but it still might not be where he needs it.
And more positive yardage as he sneaks inside the 30. There's not a whole lot of running lane there for him, but he seems to make the right cut in the last 3 carries.
He's a good zone runner. You saw they ran a lot of zone at Wayne State in college. They're a running team. They like, you know, to stretch you out. So that's what his forte is, and the Lions just running a lot of inside, a lot of outside zone right now. I think he's sucking air, though. He's got a lot of carries here. You don't get that type of reps in training camp.
No, you're right. 2nd down and 7. Moore on a quick throw on a curl route. Hauled in by number 15, Wallace Miles.
I know Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, we'd like to see him pick this 1st down up because it's going to allow you maybe 4 or 5 more offensive plays. And there's a good look at Scott. You get greedy. I mean, you want to run a lot. You want to see guys how they perform in certain plays.
That offense scored a franchise record 474 points a year ago. 4 times they scored 40 or more in a football game. Williams. That's a face mask if a flag flies, but it doesn't. Sure looked like there was a lot of face grabbing there on the part of the Browns.
A little bit closer look, partner. See if you brought your official card once again. This is the zone play. He hugs the hole pretty nice. He gets through there, and that is a face mask as much as you're ever going to see a face mask, Matt.
Absolutely.
But that's why they're called replacement officials. I like to think when we went on strike in 1987, they brought in the replacement players we called scabs. They weren't quite as good. And under short notice, the NFL is trying to provide the best officiating they can.
This will be a 40-yard kick. And Derek Dinky hits it. 17-10, Lions in front. Second field goal of the night for the Lions. They'll take the 7-point lead with 10 1/4 left. Eric Dimke may have hit the field goal, but Joik Bell carried the load on that offensive drive. 4 carries, 51 yards. So a major part, 51 of the 57 yards on the legs of that young man right there. Took under 4 minutes, and Detroit's lead is back to 7.
Look at Derek Dimke. Believe it or not trying out for the Lions. The Lions will not get rid of Jason Hanson. I'm telling you that right now. He is trying out for any other NFL team is what he's doing. As a kicker, that's all you want, Matt. You're really getting evaluated by all 31 other clubs.
Right.
They truly are. I mean, they will look at all this film.
Ask Dave Rayner.
Yeah, David's been a beneficiary of that with teams that think they can upgrade. They do that with off the free agent wire, and if you come into camp and you make all your field goals, you get good deep kickoffs, there's an opportunity you're going to play with someone.
It's a short kick, though, and it'll be fielded at the 5-yard line. And Cleveland gets to the 25-yard line. Keelan Williams goes tumbling over that pile. So the Browns back on offense. New quarterback in for Cleveland. It's Thaddeus Lewis. Where's number 9? A toss to the left for Adonis Thomas, and he's going nowhere. Ricardo Silva, Jonte Green up on the tackle. Ross Weaver also in for a shared tackle as well. As we reach the 10-minute mark of the 4th. Second down and 10 now for Cleveland. Lewis with a 3-step drop that was batted at the line of scrimmage, and an incomplete pass. All Pat Shurmur can do is shake his head. Edmund McClain got a paw on that one. 3rd and 10 now for Cleveland.
What a great name there, huh? Number 61 for the Browns. You got to make the team and your name's Cleveland,
yeah,
don't
Matt
you?
Cleveland, sure. Matt Cleveland, a rookie from Idaho. Empty backfield. Lewis rolls, throws on the run, showing off a big arm for a completion at the 45. Good pitch and catch there. Reed on the receiving end.
As you said, Matt, he shows off his big arm. This is a mobile quarterback, and that's a beautiful throw. Because the coverage actually was not that bad. He just got between Jones and Messina.
Lewis able to run with it. Spinning his way and sliding at the 40-yard line. Good run there and good vision by Thaddeus Lewis.
Well, I don't think this is Thaddeus' first rodeo when it comes to scrambling out of the pocket. As you can see, the type of quickness and decisiveness when he took off. He's going to be a handful to try to get down the field.
Lewis played quarterback, by the way, at Duke. Set the school record for passing yards and touchdowns.
And those rushing stats, did he have any? Or
sure, he had plenty.
I know you can find if anyone can.
When you're a quarterback at Duke, you're bound to have to run for your life a little bit.
I was thinking, I was wondering if they ran some read zone or something with their quarterback.
Well, he likes to run because he is an avid shoe collector.
Yeah.
A lot of shoes collected in his closet.
Or should I say zone read, partner?
Yeah.
Before you even give me a hard time in that. Yeah, you know, you saw Tim Tebow at Florida run the zone read, and I'm not sure what the Blue Devils run down in Duke for an offense.
I just know their basketball and lacrosse teams are a lot better than their football team.
When I got a kid like Thaddeus here, That might do some type of zone read.
3rd down and 4. Also says he's a pretty good cook. Let's see what the recipe for success might be here. That was illegal motion. Pressure from Lewis from behind, and he gets away from it. Oh, and he's drilled shy of the 1st down yard marker. Ricardo Silva came up and delivered a big blow.
I know, but O'Neal Cousins, a left tackle, I think he's taken off early. That's right here. What? I think he's getting out of his stance early.
Yeah, both tackles.
I think all 3 did. The center snapped the ball late, and our replacement officials missed that one as well.
Ronell Lewis beat Ryan Miller, and there's absolutely no relation to the goalie in Buffalo and the former Hobie Baker winner from Michigan State.
Wow, they gave him a spot too.
Wow, they gave him
I thought he was
first down?
Yeah, I thought he was a happy yard short.
And Cleveland's going to call a timeout. I mean, that was illegal motion by both tackles on Cleveland.
And the right guard.
Yeah, and they got a generous spot as well. Pat Shurmur calls a timeout, so we'll break from the action as well. 7:43 left. It's almost over, Jim. Tonight's game summary brought to you by the Ford Motor Company.
Well, it starts out with Keelan Williams going over from the 4-yard line. Nice, powerful run. Gets a good trap block by Dylan Gandy, and then Sean Hill's able to find Stephon Logan, gets a little bit of separation. And Seneca Wallace, you said, Matt, does it with his arm and as well as his feet. He draws the defense, lost over the top to Smelly, who's able to get in the end zone for the Browns to shorten the gap and make it a little bit more of a competitive game. A 17-10 game with 7:43 remaining in the 4th.
And Cleveland just picked up a 1st down moments ago and trying to put a drive together. The 3rd string quarterback is in, Thaddeus Lewis. Adonis Thomas has not had a lot of room to run. Lewis competing for that 3rd spot. He's the 4th quarterback in, but competing with Seneca Wallace for the number 3 spot. It's fair to say that Brandon Whedon right now is the number 1 guy, followed by Colt McCoy. Over 3 minutes on this Cleveland drive right now. 2nd down and 8. Lewis up top, right corner. Incomplete. Jonte Green on the coverage. Owen Spencer, the intended receiver.
I tell you, Jonte Green is learning from his past mistakes. He got a long one caught on him earlier when he did not locate the football. Much better job. Inside position. We know he can run. We're going to look to the left side of the screen. He's running. Look at him looking for the football now. He gets off balance a little bit, but I like the fact, Matt, he's trying to locate the football. He looks back. Here's a better view. He's playing the football. He just gets bumped late. Inadvertent. I don't think that should be an offensive interference call. I think a no call is good on that.
Set up the screen to Thomas, and he's got some blockers looking for the end zone and wrestled down inside the 5-yard line by Messina. 1st and goal, Cleveland.
Well, this is the perfect call for the coverage. The Lions are man-to-man coverage. Everyone's getting run off. You see Silva jump the slot. Everyone's getting run off the field, and Messina can't get off the block. He does a good job fighting through it, though, to make the play, but perfect call.
Good block by Owen Spencer downfield, too. The wide receiver.
Yeah, big man rolling down there, too, number 64, Stanley Daniels.
6'4", 320.
A man heading for the last call for the buffet there.
Big man rolling. Oh, 1st and goal from the 3. That's great stuff. Thomas looking for the reward. Got it.
Well, the most important thing now is that Pat Shurmur understands in this situation you go for 2. Here's a look outside zone to the left. See 57 Doug Hogue, play side, Ricardo Silva. Yeah, you got to take that on tougher than that. We call that an Olay. When Smelly comes out at 47, he kind of dodges it, and that creates a seam. When he jumps outside, that allows the back to cut it to the inside. You got to take that on with your inside shoulder, squeeze it down. Don't make the hole bigger, make it smaller.
So here's the 2-point conversion when Pat Shurmur was listening.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, sure.
Once again, it gives you an opportunity to work on something that you may have to work on. Now, granted, probably none of these 11 will be in there when they're working on it.
Thomas, the lone setback. Gets the call.
Oh, nice job.
Not going to get it. Doug Hogue with a good read. Messina with a good read.
Ronell Lewis.
Ronell Lewis on the bottom of that Lions pile prevents the two-point conversion and nurses the one-point lead, 17-16. Detroit in front thanks to the rookie out of Oklahoma.
With 6:05 to play here at Ford Field, and I think we found the most popular player in the house. Ronell Lewis just held the Cleveland Browns scoreless on their two-point conversion attempt. He's known as the Hammer. The rookie out of Oklahoma, defensive end, knows he's going to have a hard time fighting to make a spot on this roster, and if he does, he's going to need to make big plays like that, and he's going to need to contribute on special teams. Matt, back to you.
You know, Tom, Bernie Kosar came in our booth after that play. He thinks the most popular guy in the stadium is Pat Shermer for going for two right now. He says, I love this coach.
Tom's right, though. I mean, that Hammer nickname was given to him by Bob Stoops at Oklahoma because of the hard hits that he constantly had defensively and on special teams. And you mentioned this ad nauseum over the years that we've covered preseason games for this club. When you're not assured a spot, when you're not one of those top guys or maybe in top two guys,
what's your
special
value?
teams helps you.
Yeah, what do you bring to the table that the guy you're competing against doesn't? Can you cover a kick? Even if you're not the best tackler, can you break down? Can you slow things down? Can you take on a wedge? Can you do things that the other guy can't do? That's how you win your spot.
Joique Bell trying to do that. He's been on special teams a little bit, and he's getting a lot of carries to showcase his ability as well. Picked up about 5 on that touch.
Got some other guys in the game too. Let's give a little. Austin Wells at tight end, number 45, is in now. You see in the offensive line, is Pat Broyle in there? Trying to see if that's 60 or 61.
Moore turns and gives to Joique Bell. Bell just shy of the 25. We'll see where they spot the football. Well, the nice thing about Joique Bell, because he's been in camps before, he was in New Orleans when he was released and Detroit claimed him. He still had his apartment out there. He had to rent it to another player at New Orleans who was fighting his way to try and get on that squad. But he understands the numbers. He gets what he's up against. Yeah, sometimes that's part of the battle.
Right, and he says you can't get caught up looking at his numbers because he's led the NFL in the last 2 years in preseason rushing yards. But he said that really doesn't matter. You just have to be better than the other guys in your roster. Doesn't matter if you have 100 more yards.
Moore throws on the run. Did Curry catch it, or was that a trap?
I think that's a great throw and a great catch.
Sure is.
Sometimes it's good to be a left-handed quarterback. Moore forced out, rolling out to the left side. We know he's accurate. That's one of his strong suits. There's a little bit of a boot action. He's got time. Keeps his eyes down the field, looking to throw the ball. And then Curry absolutely gets his arms underneath it. Yeah. Nice job. Dominic Curry. Another big body receivers. It seems like the Lions receivers are all 5'8" or 6'5". They look at Curry, look Maurice Stovall, Calvin Johnson, Terrence Toller with big bodies.
Sure. And then you have the other end of things with Ryan Broyles and Patrick Edwards and Titus Young. But
yeah, Wallace Miles.
Young has had a really good camp, we should note. Titus Young has had a really good camp. And
remember, Matt, last year we were a little bit frustrated with Titus in the preseason. He was a high draft pick, and we never really got to see him because he was injured. And all of a sudden, he started playing in that last preseason game, and then during the regular season, it's like, you know what? He's pretty good. Yeah. He's pretty fast, and he's tough. He'll go across the middle. He's not very big. If you look at his body, he's fairly frail looking, actually pretty thin, but he'll go across that middle. And I played with a lot of guys that didn't want any part of going across the dead zone. You run that 20-yard cross with their safety's hand, not the best place to be.
48 catches, 6 touchdowns a year ago for Titus Young, who, ironically enough, caught passes from Kellen Moore at Boise State. And what a combination they were together. Young not here because of the birth of a child. As Tom Lyden told you earlier in our pregame show. 3rd down and 7 for Detroit with under 3 minutes to go. Curry, Long, and Miles out there for Detroit in the receiving corps. Moore out of the shotgun. Looks right, throws that way, and a comebacker. Miles grabs it, then fumbled it, It's going to be ruled incomplete.
That's too bad. Wallace Miles did most things correct in that play. He took the route, passed the sticks a couple yards, does a nice job coming out of his cut, be to the right side of the screen. He comes back to the football, catches the ball in his hands, but he just can't put the ball away. So many different components that make up a successful reception, and Miles did 3 out of 4.
So now Detroit will force to punt it away. They want to reset the game clock for 3:24. I thought I heard Bobby Jackson, our referee, say 3:24.
It's at 2:18. Maybe he meant 2:24.
That's what. There it is. 2:24.
Tell you what, if this broadcasting thing doesn't work at all, I'm going to be a replacement official. I got a shot. I knew it was 2:24.
It'd be great if you could do both, wouldn't it?
It'd be great if I could do either. I've been told I don't do this very well.
Ben Graham will punt it away. He and Ryan Donahue with a legitimate battle, don't you think, in camp?
Yeah, and the thing is, you're really comparing two totally different style punters.
Sure.
Ben Graham, everyone thinks he doesn't punt very well. He can't spiral the ball, but that's the intent, to get that backwards roll.
Well, we showed you earlier in our broadcast the preseason schedule. Here's the regular season slate. It's one of the more difficult in all of football. They open with Sam Bradford in St. Louis, and then at San Francisco. That team favored to at least reach the NFC Championship game. A visit to Tennessee, and then into the NFC North a little bit.
Well, they were 8-0 on the front side. I'm looking at the back. I'm thinking 15-1. What do you think, Chef?
Really?
No, not.
You're very optimistic.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Couple of trips at Green Bay. You go two completely opposites. Green Bay and then Arizona at Arizona in back-to-back weeks.
I can't speak for everyone, but I know which one I would choose.
Lewis throws to Gronkowski for the completion. He gets to near midfield for a first down. Well, you liked playing in Green Bay. You had good success against Green Bay, didn't you?
I had some good games in Lambeau. We actually had good success as a team. In my 7-year career, we were 9-5.
It's not bad.
They didn't have Brett Favre then, or Aaron Rodgers.
It's been a long time since they've won at Lambeau. They were close last year, but couldn't get the job done. 2 minutes left. Detroit up by 1.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Chip Donovan, Bernie Kosar, Mark Schwab back with you at Ford Field in Detroit. 2 minutes to go in the game. The Browns have a 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line. Down by a point. Thaddeus Lewis at quarterback. Back, steps up, throws down the middle. Caught! It's Burt Reed, and he's inside the Lion 35-yard line for a first down. The Browns have 2 timeouts left, and they get hurry up right up to the line of scrimmage. Jonte Green on the tackle and the coverage for the Lions.
All-out blitz coming.
Down to 1:40 and the clock running.
The left side is coming.
Adonis Thomas gets the carry, and he'll get it down to the 33-yard line, and he'll be brought down there. A gain of 2 on the play, and it will be 2nd down and 8 with 1:28 left.
Nice call by Schwartz on the sidelines there. Really, Thaddeus Lewis wants that back. You got plenty of time now. You're almost basically in field goal range.
Now, if they attempt a field goal, it will not be Dawson. It will be Jeff Wilford, who's been warming up. He throws. Gronkowski makes the catch, and he's got it inside the 30-yard line. They'll give him the 26.5-yard line. He'll be about 2 shy of the first down. It will be 3rd down and 2 as we go under a minute. Gronkowski's made 2 nice catches on this drive, and we have a timeout being called Timeout Browns with 54 seconds left. Now, Wolford missed from 48 yards earlier in the game. He was wide left.
Yeah, this is one where if you're a real...
That's the second charge timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Go ahead, Bernie.
If you're a real confident veteran winning quarterback, you don't want it to come down to a 44-yard field goal right now.
Okay.
Although you could justify that you did your job, you got you in field goal range. You got about a minute. You got a timeout. It's 3rd and 2.5. You could make a play here because Detroit's going to sell out. They're not going to be in soft zone coverage. You have an opportunity to make a play down the field and put the game out of reach right now. or make it incredibly close for a chip shot field goal as opposed to one of substance.
All right, so it's at the 26-yard line right now. So a spot of a field goal would be at the 33. It would be a 43-yarder, right in there in that range. Right now, if they don't move it an inch. Right now also, remember, it's 3rd down and 2 with 54 seconds left. The Browns had an uncovered receiver out there. Nobody had gone out to cover one of their receivers. Now the Lions do. Thomas and Smelly are in the backfield. 3rd down and 2. They give it to Thomas, and he did not get it. He tucked himself to the left half mark and got it down near the 30, down to the 26-yard line. He was tackled by Carmen Messina, and the clock runs now with 39 seconds left. And the Browns are going to let it wind down. Pat Shurmur is right out on the sideline, but the Lions may step in front of the Browns on this, and they may call a timeout. In fact, they have, with 33 seconds left. So it's 4th down, and the ball is between the 26 and 27-yard line. And Jeff Wolford will come out on the field. Spencer Lanning will hold for him, so it's not the normal team on placements.
This is really important, not only for the team, but for Wolford kicking. Obviously, he's not beating out Phil Dawson. That's not a competition there. But to be on film under the pressure situation of making a game-winning north of 40-yard field goal would be very impressive for his resume.
All right, one quick look at the quarterback stats brought to you by Liberty Ford, Ohio's #1 Ford dealer group. As Jeff Wolford waits for the field goal, there's what they have done. And Thaddeus Lewis has done well himself as he got the Browns in for a touchdown and has driven them down now to the 26.5-yard line of the Lions and allowed Jeff Wolford to attempt a 45-yard field goal attempt to try and give the Browns the lead with 33 seconds to go. Here we go. Wolford ready. Lanning to hold. Snap is good. Kick on the way. End over end. It's got distance, and it is good. Wolford hits the field goal, and for the first time tonight, the Browns lead, and it comes with only 28 seconds left. 19-17.
Detroit with only one timeout, so this is being a tough case. Tough job for them now to get into field goal range, barring an unbelievable kickoff return.
Which, of course, now you must cover very well. Good for Wolford. He missed earlier, but he nailed that one. And as you said, that's impressive now on a guy's film or on his resume.
Yeah,
late in a preseason game, on the road,
under pressure. You don't want to be the backup kicker.
No.
You've got a punishing 3-hour bus ride home after this game to have to sit with all your teammates, and you gagged on the game-winning field goal.
But there's going to be Popeye chicken on the bus. How tough can that be?
I'm biting my tongue for the first time tonight.
19-17. There's Phil Dawson and Pat Shurmur saying, "Could you have made that, Phil?" I don't think he's saying that.
Yeah.
I think Phil Dawson would have nailed that one too.
If Phil would have came back at him, who was long snapping?
All right. So the Browns now, thanks to Wolford's kick, have taken a 2-point lead with 28 seconds left to go in the ball game. Here in the preseason opener. And we don't have a lot of time to reflect on this one because middle of the week next Thursday night, we'll be in Green Bay. And we hope that you'll be with us. And then the Browns will come back home for their final 2 preseason games. Justin Miller is deep to return for the Lions. Let's see where Wolford can kick the ball. End over end. Miller runs up, and he caught it at the 3. Oh, he's to the outside 25. He's to the 30 with a stiff arm to the 35, and with 21 seconds left to go, the Lions will get it just shy of their own 35-yard line. And it will be the rookie from Boise State, Kellen Moore, who has played a ton here in this game.
Yeah, they really gave him a good look.
They did.
Typically in these situations, everybody says, watch the sidelines, don't give up the sidelines. If I'm a quarterback here, I am really looking for the seams down the middle, firing guys down there in about that 20-yard range, seeing if somebody can make a play, using your last time out, getting the ball a little past midfield.
From their own 34, they have 1 timeout left, and they need to get in field goal range.
And we're blitzing.
Browns blitz, more up. He got hit on the shoulder and he threw the ball out, and it's incomplete. They'll rule it. He got his arm in motion and threw the ball out of there, but he got tagged right on that shoulder, on his left shoulder, as he was throwing, and it's incomplete. William Green was blowing through there. Good job by William Green. Keep the play going. Now with 16 seconds left. Browns lead by 2, 19-17. Still, the Lions have one timeout left in their pocket.
Got two guys in the backfield. Typically don't see this. The extra guy in for pass protection. It didn't help last time.
Here's more.
Oh, that seam.
Throwing long. The Browns are down there. And they have intercepted the ball inside the 30-yard line. As the Browns pick it off, David Sims got it with 9 seconds left to go. He played center field and caught it. So Jeff Wolford's kick, David Sims' interception, and the Browns have rallied back. And this man has just presented his hat to you, Bernie, I believe, to sign. Well, it's the best play that you can call, even in a preseason game. Victory formation, you just get up there and take a knee, and that's it. And that is it. Thaddeus Lewis did a wonderful job coming in there and really sparking the Browns. I had not seen him play. He really did a good job.
Yeah, this is the most he's played, and it's the best, for him, like the kicker, to have it on film, that he made some plays like that, under duress, and at the end of the game, to put himself in a position to win is what you ask young quarterbacks to do.
There's David Sims clutching that ball. Sims had been hit with a couple of penalties earlier in the game, but he comes up with the game-saving interception down inside the Browns' 30-yard line. Jeff Wolford won it with a kick. Good job by him. Brandon Whedon, there'll be more time, Brandon, next week in Green Bay.
Look for Green Bay next week. They didn't have a very good start, so their home opener, I think they're going to want to put on a good performance.
All right, so there you have it. The final score, the Browns win it as they rallied once down 14-3 in the game, down 17-10, got to within 1 at 17-16, went for 2 after the touchdown run by Adonis Thomas. Did not get in on a running play, got the ball back. Thaddeus Lewis hit Dan Gronkowski a couple of times on big plays, got them down into field goal range, and Jeff Wolford knocked it through.
Yeah, nice clutch play by quite a few people, especially some young kids. Who's to say if they're going to be around when the regular season happens? So for them to with their families here, a lot of the young guys who are on the bubble have a lot of their families here, to be on film something impressive like this, it's nice to see.
All right, and we're concerned about some of the injuries that all came in the first half, and they came bang, 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 4 of them right in a row. It started with Massaquoi, who went out with what could be a concussion. Remember, he's had a problem with that in his young NFL career. He had one last year. He had a bad one the year before that in Pittsburgh. He went out. Dimitri Patterson went out. Scott Paxson went out. Jordan Cameron, the very bright star at tight end, made a terrific catch on a Colt McCoy throw down the middle of the field, but landed harshly on his back and his tailbone, and he never came back into the game either. So we worry about that because this team is not blessed with a lot of depth right now. But they come back and they show a lot of guile and guts, and they win this one 19-17. We'll be back to wrap it up from Ford Field in a moment.